A certain darkness is necessary.
Darkness is a fool's solace. Light's perfection guides me.
Perfection is the cruelest lie. We are not meant for perfection, Angel.
Your true self hides behind a wall of anguish. Decide who you are.
I know what I am. I am thunder. I am lightning. I am the storm.
You are dangerous. But I am more. I am the conquering light. I am the light that splits the night. All kneel. Eventually.
I will never bend to the light. I hunt the light.
I will live. You will kneel.
No. You will break.
I will not be broken.
You were meant to be broken.
My truth is unbreakable. It is time.
You and I are from a time before memory.
A memory is all you will be. Can your flames burn away your fear?
Can your wings bear you above your denial?
You need me. Your freedom is meaningless without me.
Without me, your existence.
Gain advantage, and they can go over to the bottom lane again.
There's no one coming in from the side of Gucci to rotate for this here. You can see Born is way 7, his position is all the way deep into that backside of the map. So this tower might be going in favor for the side of Team Essences for more of a bit of a structural damage.
True, and as we see across the map, there's been Born this way farming on Krugs, but I think they sees no opportunity to do a 2v1 dive to Mbessa, so will be recalling back to the bottom side of the map. But Arashi now has been spotted, trying to steal his red buff again, getting more advantage for the side of Triple S, and with that smite secures it.
Yeah, almost 3,000 gold lead here from the side of Triple S. And this Lucian Lilio combination is trying to pop off. Nice plans coming in from the side of Lilia here, but ultimate pop coming in from the side of 724, chasing down and forcing the summoner spell to be used coming in from Essence's dueling.
Barely makes it there. Blaze almost not surviving, but now we see Velia trying to save this turret. Now Born this way as well.
Control gets tagged on by the season this year. The combination coming in from the mid jungle has failed, coming in from Team Essence. Arashi left before dust in towards that bottom lane. We do see the teleport coming in from 1JW, but there won't be any much of a continuous play. But shutdown goes over to 724, and with this tower as well, that's gonna be a big Yunara going in towards that mid game.
Yes, I can see the gold swing happening anytime soon with that punishment for engage from Team Essence coming to the bottom lane. We see that the Cyclone like almost negates all of the attempts that Team Essence are doing, and Yunara is pretty much safe with that play from Born this way. Perfect Cyclone timing.
Also, like a split-second mistake coming in from Arashi and Nekodes, where Arashi went in 1 second too early on that ultimate, and then Neko wasn't able to connect with the flick and also on the Talia, so that Born this way could actually make it out alive.
Oh, nice steal, by the way, from Born this way. Now, yeah, it's not necessarily a revenge steal for the objective, but as far as objective is concerned, we do have a Rip Herald coming in the minute 15, and now we see all the cooldowns have been like trying to be refreshed for both teams, and I think they're gonna wait for a couple more seconds before they try to set up on this objective.
Yes, the Dragon coming in the next 30 seconds, but if you're on the side of Gucci, you can probably take trade 1-for-1 between the Hero and also the Dragon. I do think that if you give away Dragon, stall for big item power spikes for the Yunara, that could be a game-changing moment if she gets like 4 to 5 items.
Sorry telat Aku nggak nyangka bakal cepet ini mulainya. Ada komentatornya sekarang ada.
Get Malignance out there. Obviously Ari needs more.
Soalnya kan kalau di jadwal mah jam 8 sama kayak biasa, cuma ternyata lebih cepat. Sorry telat ya.
Make some damages out, but we see now the team Essence has been trying to pressure.
Beda kayak kemarin-kemarin komentar-komentar L banget. Ini mah kan aku bilang juga kan ini mah karena final round, jadi ada casternya.
It's a play on the top side.
Okay,
Bahasa
so
Inggris ya casternya ya.
Neko Des
Kalau caster dari sananya bahasa Inggris, kalau aku ya pakai bahasa Indonesia aja.
Side of 1JW. That's gonna be an important one, and he also got away towards safety with the Weaver's Wall.
Udah final ya, ini
In
final.
this specific play, what
Final
could have
untuk
happened
region
was a
Indo
trade
NYSG.
objectives, but Neko finding the kill on towards Ari, which is 1JW, the flick into
Final untuk region
the
ini.
Talia Q finisher. Wow, that's just such a well solo kill coming in from Neko.
True.
Udah 4 kill, goal difference sejauh ini sekitar 1.500 ya. Yang pasti menang tim MBG udah tumbang, jir. Ini tuh finalnya ternyata game yang kemarin. Jadi kan game kemarin tuh Ci sama SSS kan. Yang menang yang menang Ci 2-1. Nah, terus SSS turun ke lower bracket. Nah, tadi tuh jam 5 sekitar jam 5-an SSS main ngelawan Sparky. Yang menang SSS. Jadi SSS setelah turun ke lower bracket naik lagi ke upper bracket melawan Ci. Ini literally game yang sama kemarin. Cuma sekarang BO5, best of 5.
So if
Mereka udah pulang,
Gucci
udah.
wants to fight, this is not a good timing for them to fight because we are
Udah literally
seeing
ini
some big
dua tim
item
yang
power
terset
spikes
literally
come
tinggal ini.
online, especially the Bessa, the Wukong.
Cuman kalau kemarin best of 3, kalau sekarang best of 5. Cari tim yang
important
3
markers that Gucci are like, okay guys, we can't fight this, so let's just give this away. But giving this away also
Aku juga
opens
udah
up
ngerasa
their
sih
main
kemarin
power
pun
for taking this.
dari kayak permainannya anjir ini dua tim ini kayak tim top tier jir. Manja penta kan pentakill. Aku pulang gara-gara kamu jadi komentator apa hubungannya jir? Aku mau cuma menyiarkan ulang.
Team Essence is trying to push onto the top lane with the Whip Herald in hand. But it doesn't keep coming. Zavasky maybe trying to catch with the Spirit Rush, but maybe a little too late.
Nice escape coming in from Neko once again. So that's gonna be an important cooldown burst for the side of 1JW. No teleport for the next few moments here. As long as
face rush-nya kena
you can
stun.
look for a play.
Oh my god, flash over wall.
On Fortune, nice
Langsung
new flash
saja
into the season
dipanis
assist coming from
harinya, bro.
Arashi. Deleting the Ari in this initial play.
berusaha lari.
Azabeth and also
Iya,
1JW has to
ulti.
run for the hills. Azabeth barely surviving from that play itself. They're
Oh
still
my God,
chasing,
dulunya
but
bisa
he
selamat
pops
si
the
GG.
Q and he almost manages to
Yuchat.
make it out alive, but Arashi, oh,
Tetap
the
masih
final
bisa
punch
selamat,
gets
bro.
blocked by the
Oh
Lulu
my god,
E.
slow.
Okay,
Charge lagi.
another attempt from Arashi.
Oh my god, selamat
Into
dulunya
the
bro.
Ah, he doesn't get it.
Dulunya selamat
Just
aja.
like not feeling well to dive now, but I think
Yeah,
coming
stop,
back,
Bessa.
again on the
It's
top
long,
lane,
it's
another skirmish against Bessa and Sante, but I do want to talk about the play that has been happening over on the top side, where you know Ari just been punished perfectly by Arashi there. And that swings the momentum. You see the replay again coming.
Face rush kena stun langsung anjir. Spy-nya Q over wall langsung dipanis anjir, nggak dikasih gerak lagi. Literally satu kali halangan doang. Insta death.
Again, this is good swing of momentum as Triple S will also like seize on that, capitalize on that, and it gets it.
Gold
gets
difference-nya
them
sekitar 3000 sih.
to the momentum now
Masih
over
doable.
to like 20 minutes of the game.
Cuman objektif nggak tahu nih
gotta be wondering.
atau enggak nih.
The
Dari
Ari
kemarin
was-
sih
this was
pasif
first
banget
pick
ya kalau
by
lagi behind sama sekali nggak mau kontes
something from this
apapun.
Ari, but it's currently
Oh, dari kemarin kayak
1-5.
gitu ya.
Not the
patternnya.
greatest game coming in from Sebastian as of this point.
I think it comes down to Team Essence just punishing down what Ari has been doing so far. Now Born This Way with some of the double buffs.
Oke, ada yang pakai hex gate.
It's not gonna do anything.
For Flaker, so Born This Way has been
Luciannya
caught out
bawa
in jungle here. Weaver's Wall sealing the escape path for this Wukong here, but there won't be any supplementary plays coming in from Team Essences. That could be a close call if they did catch on towards Gucci's jungle, which may result into a Baron play.
Yeah, true. Don't see any opportunity that can be capitalized on that. So there's no like pickoffs or hard CCs that can like follow them up with a shutdown. So again, they need to win fights before committing to Baron. And what Essence can do is utilize Fly and Talia to make pickoffs anywhere like any member of the Gucci has this like out of position, they spot it. If they spot it correctly and they like time it correctly, Gucci cannot answer. But we see another play.
Oke, bakalah ambilnya ke Panis di sini.
Members
Santai dash ke depan, Wukong, Ambessa, perfect execution, miss. Parat. Cuman harus invest 2 ultimate di Kasante sama Wukong aja.
This specific
Tapi
play
di sisi lain
on
di
the
both
Baron,
side
they
kaliannya
respect
terus
it, they
nge-push
back
ya.
off, and they need to tend towards the wave in that mid and bot lane.
It's also noted that they wasted so much ult to kill Ambessa on the top lane that
Miss sih, beruntung akhirnya sidestep ya. Perfect execution-nya nggak kena
we ultimate
sidestep.
to be able to contest the Baron. So I think it's a good trade overall for Gucci. They just like cannot capitalize further on that.
Yeah, there's no like additional play subsequent towards that where, okay, a kill doesn't lead towards a Baron, doesn't lead towards a Dragon. And this is a Hex Tech Drake that's being secured here, so the soul is going to be Hex Tech Soul, so they are just saying like, okay, you got
Drake-nya benar-benar nggak dikontes. Kalau lagi behind nggak tahu kenapa mereka mainnya safe banget sih. Bahkan sampai ketik soul point pun kemarin mereka tetap nggak mau kontes
If you don't
ya.
find me,
Somehow
I'm gonna get the potentially one of the best Dragon Souls in the game, which is Hex Tech.
benar-benar dikasih aja.
So I think again Gucci, they still have Yunara in the game, and with 2 items and a half, you still need a couple more minutes to stall this game and to basically alleviate the pressure coming from Team Essence. This is XP for Yunara to finish off his items and potentially trying to save the salvage the game from a loss over on this first game of the grand finals here. The
Tapi menang level ya, gara-gara kill tadi beda level satu nih.
Again, they have to contest the next dragon, or else gonna give away like Hextech Soul is not gonna look good for Gucci, even if they have like a 6-item Yunara.
Yeah, you're gonna be poked down by the Talia Pebble, so you don't want that to actually happen. But talking about Yunara, it's a very good fail-safe hero, a champion where if let's say it goes towards that late game and the combo coming in from the Ambessa, Talia, and Vi doesn't one-shot her, maybe, just maybe, we will see the Yunara hyper carry towards that late game because there is the Lulu to protect this Yunara.
True. And with Michaelis as well, so it's like the double protect with Wild Growth and Michaelis to like basically get that pressure off Yunara with the anti-CC from Lulu and also like additional sustain. And it comes down to how
Trinity sama Sandal
this
Sky,
Yunara
habis itu
can
Sandal
carry
Sky sama Black
Gucci
Clover.
in the late game, as now they have been pressured across the map by Team Essence, and Team Essence are also looking for plays right here.
Oke, ulti ke arah Lulu, ultinya fight.
Talia flick
Lulu,
finally
overgrowth.
has to use the wild growth on towards herself. Disengaging from this specific play. Culling, Lanthorn towards Born This Way 7. Born This Way has to run for the hills. So with the HP bars
Nggak
being
berhasil
chunked
dapetin
down
siapa-siapa
heavily, this could be a Baron star coming in from Team SSX.
True. Now Ice Lemon Tea is also joining.
Angkat di kontes
Last
dan
one to the
buffnya.
Baron pit. Now without any cycle from the
Sisi
side
tahu
of
sih
Gucci,
mereka lagi
it's
di
gonna
Baron.
be quite tough.
Dan mereka udah mulai jalan ke arah Baron pit ya.
To Gucci.
Oke,
Bring on
siapa
towards
yang
Final
overwall?
One
Wukongnya
JW.
coba overwall.
The
Dan
ball
dari
breaker
bakal
on
di-cancel
for
aja,
the
guys.
Sante. Sante is a brick wall that they have to respect here. So
Okay.
with 2 minutes on the
Dan
dragon here, they're
Tim
recognized that, hey,
SSS pun
let's not
kayak
stall this game
meskipun
with a Baron
unggul
split.
gitu ya,
Let's respect the timer.
punya
and let's
keunggulan
play
3000
for the
gold, punya 3
dragon that's
Drake,
gonna be spawned
dia
later
nggak
on.
mau coin flip gear, literally bener-bener nggak mau ngelakuin objektif kalau nggak aman,
Alive for the
meskipun
next
punya keunggulan
2
ya.
minutes, as if one of these junglers die, it's gonna be like game over for the Dragon basically, especially if Born This Way
Literally
getting
tidak
kicked
mau
off
kontes
by
sama
Team
sekali.
Essence. It's gonna be like a free Dragon Soul basically for the side of Team Essence, and I think you don't want that to happen. You need Gucci.
Nah,
to
ini nih,
collapse this
double
fight
smite kah?
with Yunara and Lulu.
Oh my god,
And
kapan
yeah,
banget deh.
they
Kayaknya
must stay
mereka
safe.
pakai double smite narik blue sama
Gucci
Grom
is
kayaknya
about
sering
that
banget
one
deh.
pivotal
Kapan banget.
moment where
Jujur aku nggak
it's
pernah
gonna be
pakai
at the Dragon
mekanik kayak
Pit,
gitu
it's gonna
sih.
be at the Baron Pit. Find that perfect moment for
Oh
724's
my
prosperity
god.
for the big DPS moment. As of this point, he is pretty capped off with like what 3 items. You have the Runan,
Karena mastery clear camp terlalu cepet kali ya, jadi nggak butuh double smite gitu kalau sampai ditarik-tarik.
in for the ADC.
Cuma
If he can
auto-attack juga
survive the
cukup
team
sih,
fight,
mastery
have the
udah
Lulu,
udah
with
cepet banget sih clear camp.
Cyclone for example, that is gonna out
Sering banget, udah lihat berapa kan sekitar 3 kali deh kayaknya itu.
Only if he
Double
can survive. Only if he can survive.
Oh my god, bro.
And let's not count out Auri as of now, even though
Tapi
like
cuma bisa di area blue buff sama Grom doang ya double smite-nya. Kalau red sama Raptor atau red
as far as
sama
item is
Grom atau
concerned,
sama
he's
Crown.
now like
Kayaknya
gets
nggak bisa
like
sih.
Bleach Bane on top of Malignant, so DPS wise is not gonna do like pretty much like the expected amount of damage, but he still is like
Oke, somehow Yunara oke.
yeah.
Yang udah jadi 3 item duluan ya. Sementara Lucia masih 2
Leo or the flanking Ambessa. That could be key, but 127 going in for the Cyclone here. Nice respect flash coming in from Blaze.
Okay,
From
Yunara,
Blaze gets CC
shutdown
down,
karena
gets taken
Lucia.
out by the Yunara in that first initial play, and that opens up
Oh,
that
five
power here
flash.
for Rashi. Finding the
Ulti.
play on towards the Yunara on Austerity.
Oh my god, Yunara ini
Alive,
kekepung
gets
banget
taken
kita
down
di tengah.
as a return kill, but without your ADC, there's just no more
Ari.
damage coming in from
Oh
the
my
side
God.
of Gucci, and Gucci, one after
Kalau
another,
kabur ada
they
Ambessa.
fall in towards the hands of Sebastian
Death,
on
nggak
his
punya phase
Ambessa.
strike.
One more to go, and Ari,
my
one
God.
JW,
Awalnya
has
bagus banget sih
nowhere
dari
else
Ki.
to run, and it's gonna be an ace
Awalnya
for the
ininya
side
udah
of
bagus sih.
Team Triple
Gitu dari
S.
Ki.
a very good response.
Cuman somehow
from
fight-nya
Team
benar-benar
Essence
masuk
as
banget
they
gitu, flank
spot
ke arah
like
Yunara
an
nih.
opportunity for Arashi to
Dan
split
wild growth
up
dari
both
si Lulunya
Austerity.
udah kepake.
And also like Yunara and Lulu we see on the replay here like as a bet.
Oke, di sini masih aman. Nah, di sini fight-nya nih.
On top of
Tiba-tiba
Yunara,
masuk
but
aja. Masuk key charge, flash ke dalam terus ulti udah
by
unstoppable.
SWT, and
Udah
also
ngapain.
like doesn't like get a good opportunity to save Yunara from
Oh my
by
god.
Ambessa. Without
Padahal Yunara sebenarnya posisinya
she's,
bagus ya,
down
mereka
a pretty
Yunara
much
sih di tengah
good
dari
amount of
timnya ya.
damage.
Tapi karena
Potential,
unstoppable
and
jadi ya nggak bisa diapa-apain.
They just like
That's it.
trying to collapse onto Yunara, and yeah, it's a good thing that they executed properly.
I think it's also down to whether or not that you were
Nice
able
try,
to
by the way,
find a
nice
kill
try.
on first position. Yeah, you got the Lucian,
Dan
but
Baronnya masih
you
belum
burned
jatuh ya.
so much
Mereka cuma
mobility
berhasil
spells, so
dapetin
much
ini.
supportive spells coming in from the Lulu and also Yunara, which allowed the flank coming in from
Dragon Soul.
Arashi and Ice Lemon
Expect
Tea
Soul.
to find the Yunara in towards the backline. Yeah, you got the
Oh my
Lucian,
God,
but
what a
you
game.
lost your win condition, which is
Beda 7 kill
Yunara,
tapi gold
and with
difference-nya terpaut sekitar
you being ace.
5.000 gold ya.
that opened up Soul, and
7
with
kill,
Soul
5.000 gold.
5,000 gold lead, they're gonna be forcing the Baron pit and then making sure that hey, you don't want the Baron,
Lagi-lagi
then you lose
mereka
the
udah
Baron. If you want the
unggul
Baron, you're
5.000
forced to
gold,
fight under the
unggul 7
influence of
kill,
Dragon Soul.
punya hashtag soul, dan mereka nggak berani commit anjir, nggak berani buat ngeflip Baron fight. Dia langsung HP-nya
Finally
jatuh.
getting down or not, cause the calling is out and also Vi is coming.
Santai, keras banget.
They're
Tuh,
looking for the
fokus
play
nih
on
karena
towards the
Lucia
backline here.
cuma
For
tadi
this
wake
27,
up.
first to fall for the side of Gucci.
Yunaranya nggak free hit sih.
Tank on towards
No
the backline.
way.
Melted down
Oh
immediately
my god,
with
team dodge.
4-5
Oh,
members
oh.
chasing down Austerity.
Oh,
He has
no.
nowhere to go. A final flip coming
Nice
in from
try,
Neko.
nice try.
Seal the deal with an ace. A second one for the side of Team Triple S, and they are looking for
Ini ADC-nya bisa main sih,
one
sumpah
win.
Yunaranya guys.
Let's
Ngedodge 5Q sama perfect execution-nya Ambessa.
All from side of Team Essence just to rush it down towards mid lane with all of the like players not ready.
Bener-bener
Not a fight
yang dijaga tuh
because Sebastian's late.
Key-nya sedekat itu, miss anjir di side step. Oh my god bro.
Good flick from
Holy moly.
Iya. Seals down the kill.
Dan gak di end. Aku kira bakal end loh tadi. Bahkan Baronnya pun belum diambil. Mereka cuma dapetin
It
turret
sends
sama
the
inhibitor.
side of
Turret yang 3 di
Gucci
mid.
further and further back into their wing condition here.
Wow,
So
bener-bener
the next
mainnya
time that they
slow and
fight,
steady ya,
maybe it's
bener-bener
gonna be a
pelan
Baron,
banget,
maybe
nggak
it's
pengen
gonna be
ngambil
an
resiko
Elder.
terlalu banyak.
So it's
Belajar
gonna
dari
be a
kesalahan
worrying
sih.
signal for
Belajar dari kesalahan kemarin, mereka
Let's talk a bit
literally
more
ada di
of
posisi yang
where
sama kemarin.
if they can find the
SSS
miracle
unggul
play,
gold,
protect
unggul
the
kill,
Yunara,
punya Dragon
and
Soul.
by then,
Tapi gara-gara
he can make
mistake
the
satu di
comeback
Baron
here,
buff,
but
di
with the
Baron fight,
acceleration on the
semuanya
game,
jadi
this
game
Baron
kemenangan
play,
Gucci.
this could
Mereka
be
belajar dari
the
kesalahan
final
kemarin
game
sih.
of confidence that
Good job
SSS
dari tim
needs
SSS.
to finish up the game.
Good job tim SSS.
Right, born this way, forced to
Kayaknya nggak bakal dikontes sih.
forced to be out and it's gonna
Bakal
be
dikontes.
Baron for
Sepertinya
the
bakal
side
di-giveaway
of
begitu
Team
saja.
Essence as now we are 3 minutes
Mungkin
away.
harapan terakhirnya
3 minutes for
coin flip di
Gucci
Elder Drake
to
kayaknya.
sort it out.
Elder fight.
It's gonna be hard. Like You have to handle 3 Baron waves.
Mungkin karena sebelum ini tuh SSS sudah main ngelawan Sparky, jadi mereka udah panas kali ya. Ini first game buat Chi, tapi ini bukan first game buat SSS.
2.5 minutes until her flash.
Lebih kayak udah matang aja permainan ini
SSS
SSS.
to active play in these specific moments.
Especially they have to deal with the super minions coming for mid lane. Also,
Tapi ini masih game 1 guys ya.
side of the map as
Masih
well as Baron
bisa
buff
membalikan keadaan.
will bring all the minions from the top side.
Masih game 1 dan game 1 pun belum berakhir kan. Game's not over yet.
Baron minions, their double cannon wave is just shoving down this top.
Ya, Hextech Soulnya udah ngeselin sama Baron buff ya.
For the side of the Essences here. Ram does land onto Arashi
Kong
here,
somehow
but
ngambil
he's pretty tanky.
Hexgate.
He is okay with taking
Tadi
that damage.
langsung
They play
flanking,
safe,
ah.
they play chill, they just looking for a flank.
Flash
Before
over
the
wall.
flash
What?
engage on towards the side of Blaze. Blaze has to reposition against
Wah,
the
Yunaranya di ini
Flash
nambah
is
desa,
real,
guys.
but it's not enough. Meanwhile, towards the backline here.
Oh my
Nice
god,
17,
emang survive
finding the
sih.
flank. 1v3 coming in from the Cassante, but
Oke,
he gets
seenggaknya
knocked
balik
down
time
by
lah.
the Talia
Oh my
Pebbles
god.
here. As of this point, we do see a Weaver's Run going in towards deep in towards the back.
Talia ulti di charm Ahri dan kena. How?
Gucci from any
How?
positional play with
Talia
Ice
itu udah naik tembok nggak sih?
all the way from base. They might be looking for the game-winning push.
Cruisers, 4v4 situation right here. Gucci has successfully shut down.
Flash Q.
Now Arashi with the
Oh
flash.
my
Now
god,
with the
Yunaranya
flick.
bener-bener di
Yunara
target
is
ini banget. Oh
down.
my god.
Now it's a good opportunity for Team Essence to bring down that Nexus and wins the first game of the grand finals of LCP World
Yep,
Cup qualifier
that's it,
for
that's the game.
IDMYSG.
Game 1 buat
And
SSS
so,
guys.
got it.
Such a
Iya.
clean execution coming in from the mid and jungle. On the
Oh
side of
my
the
god,
Triple
what
X.
a game
Every single
guys.
place, every single lane that they visited, they managed to find kills
Yunara.
after kills after kills. And most importantly,
Kayak Yunara
Blaze
sama
dropping
Lucian udah
back
off
to
ya.
back in these team
Bakal
fights
apa nih
didn't
Blaze
matter
selanjutnya?
at all because Ice Lemon Tea does on that. Ambessa was just
Dan
able to
Five
find
udah
backline flanks after
apa ya?
one another.
Yeah,
Berisik
and
kan
what I
orang-orang
like
ya.
about this game from
Halo Bang, halo Jigan, welcome.
it's like they utilize the Fire and Talia so good that they like find opportunities after opportunities and they capitalize on that. They basically make Ari's like the Ari first pick from Gucci not exactly playable in this game, like not
Holy
exactly doing
moly.
much. Even though we see like Sevansky was trying to make plays here and there, but like Arashi read the play correctly, like punishes down the Ari's movements, and we see like a lot of flank plays coming from Wukong, trying to like salvage the game to save that Gucci from like just basically swing the games towards their favor, but they just like didn't find any good opportunity.
It didn't allow it. We were looking at potential plays coming in from the Yunara to potentially carry that late game fight, but there's just so much lockdown coming in from the side of Triple S, where you have Ambessa, the Vi, the Talias. Yeah, Lucian can go down, but once this Yunara mispositions,
Wih,
that's
tumben
gonna
last
be
minggu.
GG for
Jadi
the
ini
side
finalnya
of
Bang.
Gucci.
Ya betul,
And we
Jigan,
will be
ini
heading to a
finalnya.
short break before we bring you
Dan
more
surprisingly,
action on the grand final.
match finalnya tuh match yang kemarin kita siarin, Jir. Kemarin kan SSS ngelawan Chi dan yang menang Chi 2-1 kan. Yang menang Chi 2-1. Jadi Chi naik ke upper bracket, sementara itu SSS turun ke lower bracket. Nah, tadi jam 5 pertandingan di lower bracket, SSS melawan Sparky, yang menang SSS. Jadi SSS naik lagi ke upper bracket bertemu dengan Chi di final. Ini literally game yang sama sama tim yang kemarin. Literally tim yang sama. Cuman kalau kemarin best of 3 cari 2 game, cari 2 menang. Kalau sekarang best of 5 cari 3 menang. Jadi 2 kali ketemu, iya. Jadi 2 kali ketemu, emang layak sih. Dua-duanya jago sih. Layak lah, dua-duanya emang jago. Oh my days, bro. Bentar, ini mah yang suka live. Bapak tiba-tiba jadi. Ya bro, lagi live stream LOL dulu. nonton ini sambil makan pop mie enak kali ya buat ya udah tuh sana sambil makan guys, boleh. Yang belum makan makan dulu. Langsung kalian kenapa tiba-tiba? Iya, biasanya live feed, cuman sekarang live LOL dulu. Jadi, karena lagi apa namanya? Jadi co-stream guys. Buat yang nggak tahu ini apa ya, ini tuh turnamen LoL LCP buat region Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapura. Cuman sayangnya semua tim dari Indonesia udah gugur. Sayangnya. Sayangnya semua tim dari Indonesia udah gugur. Nih, tadi ini tuh lower final nih kan. Ini sekitar jam 5 sore tadi. SSS menang 2-0 melawan Sparky. Jadi SSS naik lagi melawan T sekarang. Ini best of 5 ya, cari 3 penang guys, cari 3 poin. Bang, kucing gue namanya lucu banget, namanya Jule aja. Punya kucing kalau kamu. Oke, biasa guys ya, break dulu mungkin. 5 menit break tuh ya. Oh, sekarang ada timernya guys. 5 menit break. Di final ini lawan SSS di babak pertama yang menang SSS betul. Tadi itu game 1 dari best of 5 yang menangnya SSS. Tapi ini masih game 1 ya, semua masih bisa terjadi guys. Game 1 tadi yang menang SSS. Ini nih. Ini masih panjang sih. Menurutku nggak bakal jadi game singkat. Minimal nggak ya. Aku netral. Cuman minimal 3-1 lah menurutku. Ini nggak akan jadi match yang 3-0, nggak akan sampai ke 3-0 match. Maksimal 5 babak ya. Kalau seru sih ya bakal jadi 5 match. 2-2 abis itu final. Kamu sampai nyobain ini guys, kamu sampai ngedownload Wild Rift kah? Iya kan? Kamu sampai ngedownload Wild Rift kah? Gede nggak sih Wild Rift itu berapa giga ya? Enggak sih, biasa. Lagi ini dulu, kan lagi ada turnamen guys. Yang kemarin nyoba, maksudnya aku itu nyoba. jadi ya udahlah, mending main yang versi bisnis kali ya. Main Roblox aja, main versi bisnis kan main apa? Aku sih kalau ngelain Roblox
Itai, the 1v1, Itai comes out on top. They have to. Here comes the hero's entrance. They have the.
And once again, you're tuning in to, of course, one of the hottest action coming in from Southeast Asia. It's the LCP wildcards qualifiers, and of course, it features Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. Here in the grand finals, we're seeing our finalists making some big waves, especially coming in from Team Essence, where we saw them right on that momentum to bring the first win out of this best of 5. Yota, you were casting that matchup. I think like it was such a gritty performance coming in, which we saw almost a flawless run coming out of Team Essence.
True, it's not necessarily like a one-sided game, so to speak, but we see a lot of like good plays coming out from from Nekodesu and Arashi making plays here and there, so that I think with both Fi and Wukong coming down, unplayable for game 2 onwards, it's gonna be up for both teams to be picking a good set of junglers as well. I think the 2v2 mid lane jungler has been vital across this series, and it's gonna be very, very important for both teams to pick their combo. It's gonna be like 2v, like either like a good bot lane combo or a good 2v2 mid lane and
sudah
Yeah.
pakai oh, emang ini ternyata fearless guys. Yang udah dipakai nggak boleh dipakai lagi.
I think that overall, back in game 1, it was some really good reads on how Essences have been able to draft and find answers in all fronts, especially with Nekodesu taking that Kalia. There's so much value because you saw how many dashes were in the kits of these members coming in from Gucci. But of course, they're going to switch things up since we're already here on game 2 with the Fearless draft also kicking in effect. So
Okay,
first pick,
Jace.
not too telling. Otherwise, with the Jace, which is a very staple when it comes down to, blue side of pick, I'm kind of surprised as well on,
Di-ban Jarvan kah?
Gucci going back on the blue side for the second time coming. I think, like, overall, they've had great ideas. It's just that they were halted in the early game, so they are definitely trying to draft something that is going to be a little bit more flexible. So, Essences, they answer back. They want raw firepower. They find it in Arashi as well as does Syndra and Jarvan.
Yeah, good 2v2 setup again, like we mentioned earlier. Like this Syndra and Jarvan combo is going to be bring so much potential into like any stages of the game, whether it's in early game with Black and Drag and Scatter the Weak, or like late game with Cataclysm and Unleash Power to delete one pair of Gucci.
Bakal ngamenin Ezreal dulu kan, ngamenin ADC-nya dulu kan.
The first pick of Jace
bot.
coming from Gucci. I believe this Jace pick can be flexed onto like 3 different roles. Either like you are both solo lanes can be fine, or as a jungler. But if you are playing Jace as a jungler, of course you need good setup on like the top side and the middle side of the map to utilize
Oke, Ezreal Pantheon buat bot.
properly. And now we see Pantheon.
Sepertinya Ezreal Pantheonnya bot, tapi bisa flex pick sih Pantheon.
For
Bisa di
and
jungle,
Jace
bisa di top, bisa support.
like top lane as of now.
Yeah, when we take a look at this comment, so Lori very telling that they're going for a very poke-heavy kind of draft, and you're also looking at a double flex in potential because you could also have the Pantheon jungle. We haven't seen top lane Pantheon for a very long time. Regardless of the case, Essence is going to bring in Olaf to just storm through the gates, look for whoever's at the back. Though very likely it is going to be hindering the Pantheon as well, where if you try to stun somebody, he's just going to basically ball him down. But overall, this is the first half of the draft where we already had a lot of all these jungle options taken out the list. So this might be difficult if we're actually saving for maybe a late jungle draft coming in. So very likely than not, we would expect either the Pantheon. I'm still thinking that the Jace is still pretty much flexible. They don't really have to find the answers yet. So more likely than so, this second draft will involve maybe a little bit more of that party onto some of the supports that were not picked up yet.
Yeah, I believe with the third pick of Team Essence, Olaf here is a good answer to Ezreal pick, even though like Ezreal is like pretty hard to catch, especially if like
Karma.
is in the middle.
Ngapain band Karma kan tuh support udah Pantheon udah jadi support.
He's just like poking down from the back line, but Olaf is like all you need to do with Olaf once you get those items ready, press R with Ragnarok, you catch Ezreal down and just like shut him down before Ezreal can do anything. So I think it's a good answer. But again,
Kayak Rakan
if
pasti
the
dihina ya.
matchup is
Rakannya masih
Jace
bisa sih, cuman kalau nggak sama saya kayaknya kurang.
pretty much like a tough job for Olaf to surviving the early
Tapi
game
bakal
because
kurang.
he will be like poked down first few levels, but
Apa nih?
Olaf can also
Jawaban
punch
buat
Jace
Ezreal
with,
Pantheon
Jace,
Caitlyn kah? Caitlyn
trying to
Max
go
kah?
all in with
Jhin.
Skies and Shock Blast.
Jhin buat ngelawan
Because,
Ezreal.
like, Olaf's passive, you know, it's like the you know the ultimate key to survive the matchup or 1v1 in the top lane. We see Jhin coming
Jhin Bard.
from Team Essence,
Jhin
so
Bard,
yeah,
maybe.
good like utility as well with the Deadly Flourish, with the like Flag and Drag, with also with Olaf. I try to chase down these backliners from Team Gucci. The support
Shen,
player
oh my
coming
god,
from
what?
Jhin can be really helpful, but we see Shen pick. So it's gonna be Shen support, I believe. And
Shen
again,
jungle,
this will be a good
maybe,
combo
atau
with
Pantheon
Pantheon
jungle. Oh my god,
as
itu flex
well.
banget
We see
sih.
a lot of games,
Oh my god.
regions.
Tapi ini
See
terlalu
both
banyak.
champions pick at
Oh
the
my
same
god.
comp, and this brings up like the global utility and the global presence from Gucci to actually make plays around the map with like Grand Skyfall and
Yeah.
Please.
There's definitely a
Oh
lot of
my
all these
god,
grand
bro.
ideas overall, and also there could be a possibility where you can have a Shen jungle, so you could basically have a very good early phase,
There's no
because if you were
mage,
to
bro.
actually face up against an Olaf top lane, it could tend to be a struggle where one Undertow and a couple more axes to your face, it could basically make life miserable for that Shen as well. So if it's going to be that Jace versus Olaf, all that Olaf has to do is just basically survive that early game. Because you take a look at the late game, you have 3 beefy targets to work up against those members of Essences. So
Jangan ditukar,
late
nah,
game
ini.
onwards, I do actually see
What?
Essence to actually have really good advantages. And take a look at the crowd control. It is also absurd
ini
on
sih
the
susunannya?
amount of utility
Ah,
that
baru
they have
ditukar.
in their kit.
I
Oh,
believe
ternyata Pantheon
Essence
jungle,
will
guys.
do the same thing.
Pantheon jungle dan
related
Shen
to
support
the
ya.
similar thing they did in game 1, which is like being proactive in the early game. Early stages of the game, we have 2v2 with Alistar Jhin. It's gonna be like trying to make plays and trying to like pressure off Ezreal and Shen. With one last pick from Gucci is also interesting. With this, it's gonna be like maybe this will be a pocket pick that works out, but I don't see like Fizz getting picked up often, especially on the tier 1, tier 2 pro scene. But Fizz can be potentially lethal in terms of like the damage output and also the like the pick-off potential.
Fizz ke Syndra. Siapa yang bisa diatasin
Also
sama Fizz?
hard
Paling
to
Jhin.
catch, especially with
Gitu
like
lah.
Endrek is just like just trickster jump away
Tricky sih ini main
from the danger,
Fizz.
and this can potentially be again very little when he has the prio, when he has the advantage on the early game, and it comes down to Pantheon, I believe, to make things happen for this in the early game.
Yeah, and I would say that overall, in the form of execution, to actually layer things upon each other is going to be rather difficult for the side of Gucci. But the whole idea
Kalau dari
is if you could
komposisi
basically
sebenarnya aku
do
lebih
a little
suka
bit poke and prod
tim
enough,
SS
you could
ya.
basically delete
Kalau
somebody
dari
off the
segi
board, and
komposisi, aku
then
lebih suka tim
it makes
SS,
life a little bit more
tapi
easier, especially when you have not the most mobile
Mungkin
ADC or even mage for the
dia
side
pengen
of
dapat
Essences.
skill
So
mereka sih.
there's got to be a certain way that you got to find that flank, and that's where Born This Way, his Grand Skyfall needs to be on the dot. He needs to really look for all
Olaf
these
benar-benar
key
unstoppable
targets,
banget sih
or
kalau
else
begini.
the moment that the Alistar answers,
Benar-benar
this is
sangat
going to be
kuat.
pretty much difficult in those team fights. So all eyes now being set once again. 2 excellent junglers on each side. So earlier, sure, we see that tug of war happening in the jungle. Will that be executed again, or have they already learned the lesson? Because Essences, they bit back harder once they got back to the lane. You saw Zavasky was having such a tough time. Now, question here is this Fizz could be key in what they really need to do here? Because if you have a Fed Fizz on your side, well, you basically would just tap out going into 50 minutes of play.
True. And also that's one thing I want to point out before we enter game 2. This is like basically if the mid lane matchup is like goes to level 3, the first 3 levels will be very strong for Fizz, as like he can like going all in 1v1 without any help from the jungler. And it's like again it comes down to the how Team Gucci can spot jungle maybe away or maybe set up with Pantheon to make it 2v1 before it becomes 2v2 or a big because if it's 2v2 it's not look good for Fizz. It's like gonna be like wasting too much resources to kill like the mid lane maybe. It's gonna be the first priority of Fizz, I believe, in this matchup against Syndra. And if Fizz cannot kill, like maybe try to make priority in the mid lane for the first 3 levels, gonna be maybe pretty tough for the rest of the game, I believe.
That's true, and we gotta see how game 2 pans out.
Ezrealnya bawa
Right
Qualifier
now,
ya, bukan
Ready
Metal Tempo.
for
Metal Tempo
Sakaski,
bawa
so
Qualifier.
yeah, I believe
Kayaknya
it's gonna
Qualifier.
be all in to make priority in the mid lane.
Ezrealnya bawa Exhaust.
If 2 members didn't work out the first time around, this time they're sending the whole squad for the Brambleback. And Arashi, he's seen these scenes before. He's gonna be absolutely fine sitting right down the board. He's not yielding. Now, is this a trap laid out because Nekodesu's coming over the side though? As if it's going very deep, and take a look at this.
Oh my
Philia
God,
is joining in the party. Now he looks to zone it out, and there we go. The
Oh
taunt
my
comes true.
God.
But Philia is here to save the day, but it might just be
Holy
at
moly.
the cost of the couple of Raptors now being stashed away by Born This Way.
No.
So it is just going to delay the outcome. Born This Way actually gets a little bit of the Raptors, and now recommits up against Philia, and he's forced to flash away.
Oh my God, guys.
Early invade coming from Gucci, but we also
Gua
see
main rata tuh,
what's
buset,
been
GG
our
banget lah.
conversation
Main
on
kah dari
to
gua
the
main
dark
LoL
phase
juga kan,
with Ice Lemon Tea, aka Dust, trying
Gila, anjir.
to be like 1v1ing Jace
Belum apa-apa
before
udah
it gets
perang aja di Raptor.
for the first
Tapi
3
sama yang
levels,
dapat
but
Pantheon ya.
yeah, so far he's done a good
Dan tadi
job
padahal sempat reset.
trying to burn both
Raptornya
his
sempat
knights
reset
off
aggro.
on the top lane for like the next couple of minutes.
Insane.
So that would be good spot. Sakaski
Yeah,
now has the opportunity to
Alright.
get level 2, but again it's gonna be poked down, and also with the aggro from the minions.
Oke, Pantheonnya counter jungle, invade.
Quite a bit of danger.
Sementara itu Jarvan coba counter jungle, dari blue langsung jalan keren musuh. Akankah di-dive? Mendive Olaf? No, nggak bakal di-dive. Dan ya, Jarvan bakal terus aja ngabisin jungle dari Pantheon. Ezreal flash, oke. Dodge combo dari Alistar. Nice timing buffer. Oke, masih bisa selamat dari dive Ezreal. Good job, meskipun harus nggak nge-burn flashnya ya. Oke, di sini
And again, Arashi is
Raptornya
doing,
bakal coba diambil
Arashi's
sama
thing.
Jarvan.
Like try to make some plays onto the side of the Gucci jungle, but now we see Pantheon coming from the upper side of the map, so Nekodesu will just have to go down and relieve the pressure of a Pantheon.
Yeah, apologies if
Ini,
you
by the way,
didn't hear me
Doran
for a
helm
split
ya.
second.
By the way,
Just coughing
ini
a little bit
ngambilnya Doran
up.
helm, guys.
And
Bukan Doran
yeah,
bow atau
I was
Doran
talking like
sword.
pressure is
Flash,
really good
ulti,
coming from each side. Born This Way now forces the flash coming from Ice Lemon Tea.
Oke, flash dari
Pretty
jungle
huge
dipercepat
as a
dari
start. Now this gives back a little bit more of that space of a control for LJW up top. As that will be a quick recall to come back with a little bit more armor to soak in some of all these pokes coming in from the Jace. While we're taking a look at the rest of the lanes, mid lane though has been pretty
Di sini
nice
fuse-nya
and
ketinggalan 10
casual.
minion ya.
Of
Emang
course,
susah sih
a
melee
little bit
ngelawan
more of
Braingat.
that early advantage given over onto Syndra since
lawan
she's
Rage
got
ya,
enough rage to
standar
poke
susah
out.
sih.
But if Savasky hits level 6, that's where Neko Desu's got to be a little bit more mindful. But Vives here.
Of course, this takes that here, but we are
Okay.
back to the top lane where a wave is coming to the side of Zuki, but there's no jungler, there's no pressure afterwards. But I want to talk specifically about this in this matchup. Again, I think the first 3 levels were vital, and we see that with Pantheon trying to set up onto Nekodesu, but so far Nekodesu still has his flash up. So that means it's gonna be
Oke,
rather
kombonya
tough
connect Alistar
job
kepada
for
Shen.
Savasky, for now, but
Cuma nggak
at
bakal
least
di-follow
with
up.
level 6 on the way, maybe he'll try one more time after he gets better.
Yeah,
Okay,
he probably will
Jarvan.
do so. Here comes
Kombonya
Arashi
connect,
though.
Alistar.
Perfect execution coming in with the hit pulverize, and
First
now that will be
blood.
first
Oh
blood
my God.
secured with Neko taking first dips while Savasky tries to hop over onto Arashi, forces the flash away. Another scatter
Keto.
weak,
Oh my
and that
God.
has been negated. Philia now gets the catch, and this
Please.
proves to be costly as there
Oh
will be
my God,
retaliation
bro.
coming in from Savasky. It's an absolute slugfest up in the mid lane.
It's a good
Holy
flash
moly.
play, I think.
Satu untuk kedua ya, tapi masih
But
favorable
Nekodesu
untuk
has been
SSS.
doing a good job here trying to
Ezreal. Oh, no!
avoid all the
Fortune.
pressure, all the damage, but we see
No,
Could have been called. But please, is able to finish him off.
Terlalu lama ditahan sama minion sih.
Is down
Good,
one
Jinnya
kill,
good.
and
Dia main waktu guys, dia nganter buru-buru. Good. Oh my, what a play bro.
Shen coming.
Ezra kayaknya udah gak ada arcane
Let's
shield.
see what is Savasky has been trying to do.
Di sini
Arashi
Fizz
will
flash
try
sama
to
Ki ya ke
escape,
arah Jarvan nih.
and good scatter from Nekodesu as well.
Jarvannya kena turret charge sekali. Oh, flash
Has
Ki.
engaged from Born this way. You still like
Alright.
Savasky wanted to try that.
Oh
like,
my
going
god,
all
meskipun
in.
fourth shotnya nggak kena ya tadi Ezreal
Kills off.
di ulti jet
Yeah. So
Yeah.
far it's been, like,
Berapa?
a good job done from
first dapetin kill.
Yeah, I really do like
And
that they
surprisingly,
did manage to
di sini
find
first
a
itemnya
really
satu
quick,
dulu ya.
rapid response, especially
Literally
Savasky.
Arashi
That almost looked like a
with
lost cause
Twisty.
till the moment Arashi once again flags and drags over, maybe a little bit overextended, expecting to actually find something in return, but it has definitely brought back a little bit more for the side of Team Triple S at the moment. Once again, I'm going for another invade, expecting the red buff to be up. And after that, it should be a clear-cut answer to just go over onto Drake as he's now initiating from the get-go.
Oke,
Not wasting
Drake,
any time
first
here.
Drake.
While he's doing
Apakah
that,
bakal
Born This
di-contest?
Way
Sepertinya
is
nggak bakal
already
di-contest
at his
ya,
rate,
seperti
taking
biasa, guys. Kalau lagi
it and
di
moving
high,
over towards the mid
sangat
lane.
jarang
So
sangat jarang
it's
banget
gonna be
terjadi
a
buat
little bit of
contest
a
match ya. Aku bener-bener
info gathering
dari
for the
beberapa
side
series yang
of
udah
Gucci
di
to know
streaming
that,
ya,
yep, there might be
bener-bener
some
konten
cheeky
Drake
attempts,
itu
but
jarang banget guys.
the smite will do its job as
Kalau
Triple S gets the first Drake in
Ya
game 2.
dilepas aja,
And Arashi
cenderungnya
keeps
lebih dilepas
continuing to
aja.
invade this side of the jungle with red buff up now. Again, the same thing he's been doing like since game 1, trying to like fist off of the jungle side of Born This Way. But he's not gonna get punished this time around, and he gets another advantage for Arashi.
Yeah, just look at how this whole tug of war is going right now. I mean, it was pretty much a parallel jungle right now for both sides, where a lot of that priority
Okay.
has been focused onto that mid lane. Born This Way right
Okay,
now,
well, that's
picking something up,
Ultinya
gets the
connect.
perfect stun
Jarvan
through. Nekodesu scatters them
bakal langsung
across, but
di-shutdown
Arashi
aja.
will not survive,
Expect
even despite the
Jarvan, guys.
Cataclysm being popped. And that frees up the
That's
Gross
it.
in the perfect timing.
That's the win condition we've been talking about. How to get away.
Stun, kalau udah kena stun baru ultinya
Fizz.
Fizz. Biar pasti kena guys.
Sets that up and spot it.
Yap,
Arashi coming.
stun dulu baru ulti Fizz guys.
Alright.
Meskipun Fizz-nya tahu itu si apa namanya si Jarvan yang bakal jalan lurus, tetap aja guys Dia mainnya aman banget.
Here,
Stun dulu connect,
but
berhenti
Ice Lemon Tea,
championnya,
okay,
baru ulti phase.
one JW coming.
Good job.
Oh no, it's not.
Chain CC-nya bagus.
Yeah. Oh, good. They don't always use their own icons, which, you know, can confuse us from time to time. That's gonna be a Stan United utilized. Well, he was thinking about going for a dash in, but with Philia being around, you kind of don't want to be displaced to the point that you're underneath the turret. So, great respect being shown coming from the side of Gucci, despite Blaze already so low on health as well as mana. He's got to go for that quick recall. Perfect time to do so as well. Should be nicely set up for him to at least get himself that U moves way quicker. As we have seen him back in that lower bracket run, Blaze has been absolutely stellar. Meanwhile, Ice Lemon Tea actually forces this maneuver and will force the flash as well. Kind of mistimed it for a little bit. Perhaps he was just thinking that he would be able to avoid danger, but he did not pop the Ragnarok though, so yeah, soaked in a little bit too much.
Yeah, one more turret hit and he's got toast. So I think it's a good decision for us to like just, you know, stop it from happening. So yeah, as we see now in the middle lane, Sevaski has been like kind of behind as far as gold is concerned. So now he gets his boots down, but Nekodesu is like been playing so well now. And it's gonna be like getting his first item, I believe, after that.
Ooh, Ragnarok now being popped, and it will be a splash coming through. Grand Skyfall connects, and Ice Lemon Tea is in danger. He's got nowhere else to go. He's just got the trade. Here comes Arashi with the flag and drag. It actually connects, and there we go. Unleash power gets the kill spree for the side of Nekodesu. That is going to be a true shot for Ras with. Well, should I say he actually dodged coming from the side of Nekodesu, and that was what Gucci's looking for.
Yeah, good answer.
Perbedaan satu skill, gold difference-nya sekitar 500 gold ya, 500-600 gold ya.
And we see that Gus trying to make
ngambil undertow sambil Ragnarok.
But we see
Storm Surge-nya proc, tapi terkena stun ya, masih dalam area stun.
Also from Dan,
Tantrain.
Arashi also reading that play out very well, and with Nekodesu kicking out, it's also like giving Essence a good trade. Again, this is for Nekodesu to kill, and yeah, it at this time.
Oh my god, Fizz. Oh my god,
boy.
seperempat, exhaust.
Exhaust being committed, but I believe there's not much that Neko can do about that though.
But
it has definitely chunked out Sevaski enough for an opportunity with Arashi paying a little bit of visit. More members of Triple S now piling over onto the top corner of the map. Here comes Azavit as well. That's definitely no business for Shen to please check into the Pixel Brush. Well, actually, we're this way now, getting absolutely pummeled. The axe being thrown right in. Stan United now being utilized to bring the kill back to Born this way with the spear. Oh, beautiful turnaround coming from Gucci.
Yeah, it's also good play from Azavit as well. Times to Stan United perfectly on top of that, and the dive attempt from Team Essence gets cancelled and gets punished very well by Gucci. Now it's like 4-4, and like as far as gold difference,
Jadi first itemnya ya upus ya.
Pretty much like balanced across both teams.
Yeah, there's just some excess coming in from the Drake that was secured from Triple S. Other than that, I mean, they've been really rocking back and forth, and we take a look at this play yet again.
Oh, Pantheonnya di ulti Shen, jadi selamat.
Oke,
dapat lagi.
Now
berhasil shutdown ke arah
now 0 and 2.
Supportnya
Dragon
SSS.
is also up. So this will be
Unggul pemain langsung kan di execute. Apakah ini bakal jadi kontes Drake yang pertama? Sepertinya juga tidak akan
Without Philia's presence, this is a little bit more doable. But Rashi tries to sneak in the smite. Gotta time it perfectly. Here comes Nekodesu though. Is he gonna open up a little bit of space? The taunt goes through onto Rashi, and yet again, Gucci secures it, but he got stuck underneath the Cataclysm, and now inside the pit, while there is gonna be the rest of the backup coming in from Triple S. Ragnarok running right through. Not really finding the target, and Sebastian's going to be making his way out, but not for Asmod, sacrificing his life. And it is going to be rather rough. Curtain Call not really finding anything at all, and somehow he sneaks right through, trying to look for Nekodesu, but he still gets the 1-for-1 trade, and that's a big shutdown goal that the Ezreal got for himself. Austerity now back on track.
Ezrealnya overwall dari Dragon Pit ke arah atas, ke arah mid, overwall. Dari sini nih, dari sini dia Ezrealnya flash overwall. Cuman gak kesono tadi waktu ngebunuhin Dragon.
We see over the replay here.
Syndranya flash overwall, jadi udah gak punya flash ya.
Capitalize on this, like players of that low HP from the side of Gucci.
Nah nih, Ezreal di sini nih.
Trying as best as they
Flash.
can, but you know, with the trade over from Nekodesu,
Flash Arcane Shift.
here,
Flash E guys.
also
Cuma satu tukar satu.
great trade
Di side step dulu.
across both teams.
Flash Arcane Shift.
Yeah, it was quite the battle that we last saw over the Drake. Now, we could definitely say that these two are absolutely evenly matched. I mean, still that 1,000 gold difference, which isn't all too significant. Well, that was a chunk of shutdown gold handed over to this Ezreal to kind of speed up the process of securing that Mana Mune eventually. And so far, Savasky doing so much better here in game 2, while Born This Way is having a little bit of a tussle over onto the Blue Sentinel. But he's got to be a little bit more mindful because he haven't spotted out Philia just yet. So this could be a little bit tougher for him to actually get something in
loh guys, sumpah. Sering banget loh. Kayaknya emang hal umum ya. Double smite itu kayak hal yang umum banget dilakukan gitu. Aku jujur nggak pernah ngelakuin itu sekalipun.
Like both pick up potential for like both mid laners, Fizz and Syndra. So this will be very important if like
kelihatannya nggak susah juga sih. Cuman kalau mastery kayaknya jarang ngelakuin itu. Even kalau pakai Udyr, kayaknya kalau Udyr masih doable sih kalau Udyr. Dari blue jalan ke
target. So good shot call should be a must for either teams who want to win this battle over, or if they want to contest here. But Team Essence is on the location first. So Gucci, do you want to contest or not? But I think they are heading that way.
Yeah, might just actually go for a little bit of a check to maybe find a conversion. There is a TP over back though. Born This Way now getting rooted up versus the Clash, but I don't think he's going anywhere. Stand United will not be able to save him with the current call. Perfectly placed from the side of plays. And now Asmod also getting his health bars melted down. Just perfect timing coming from side of Triple S, securing the Herald, and now there is a little bit of a commotion with the arrival of Savasky. There will be a flash now being committed as well. Drops right into Shelly, trying to buy a little bit more space. He's going to turn around to ram them over, and it is a big play coming from Neko. Can he convert it? It will still be Austerity, and here comes a big short shot barrage. Not quite enough to find a drop onto Blaze.
In the mid lane, now coming up from Team Essence, who are like
Aku tadi kira kayak golden tapi nggak ada zonnya juga. Coba ya lihat deh, coba lihat tadi setelah nabrak siapa yang aku lihat kayak ada masuk itu deh. Oh enggak.
Because there's no United.
Benar-benar satu.
Save everyone.
Satu untuk SSS.
Team Gucci, but we also see a good play coming up from Savasky. He sees that opportunity.
Arcane Shift-nya connect cuman nggak berhasil ngebunuh
getting
Jin.
some pickups, and yeah, he manages to get that 4th kill.
10-10 skor sementara, gold difference terpaut 1.200-an.
Trying to get their
Oh my god, Jinnya 5-0. Habis Yobus ke Stormrazor ya. Habis Yobus ke Stormrazor, build set yang
he's starting to look more like a boxing ring in of sorts, right? You could basically land an uppercut better than the other. But for now, it's all about the attrition.
Sebenarnya kayak gini ya.
Not too far off from where they left off. Both tied at 10 kills apiece. Trying to find a little bit more of the zone priority to set up the upcoming Drake. It's going to be a battle for the Ocean Soul for this second game, where Arashi as well as Philia now propels forward. Now, it's going to be an opening Stance
Jin,
coming from
protect
side of
dibuka.
Sebastian, but the curtain call now is being pulled right through. Shen's gonna try to
Portosnya connect.
stall for a little bit
Oh,
more, but it's
naruh
gonna be
di
Furnace
Nggak berhasil
way
sebenarnya
that will
ya.
find it for
Oh my
Sebastian
God,
as the
Shen.
Olaf was
Oh,
deleted.
nggak berhasil
Absolutely failed the fight, and they're still wanting
Satu ke
more.
satu.
Now with the
Top
help
super
bars
support.
all the way from side of Gucci, they are now
Oh my
fancying
God,
another
the Florida
opportunity to
connect,
go in for a second
Oh,
coming,
kata
and
Ethan
there you go, the
berdua.
Cataclysm to lock them perfectly in
Oh
place.
my
Sebastian
God. Tapi
should have
meskipun
just about
berdua, tapi kan
enough
yang berhasil
room to
dieksekusi
run
satu ya.
out to safety.
Well played, well
But all that said and done, it is still looking
Ya,
so
terlalu
close, and yet again, you still have this Jace full on health to apply a little
Paus.
bit more pressure. You can still perhaps salvage a little something, but it will be a flash committed. Pulverize not connecting right through, and yet again, another one for Blaze to just slowly weather down Gucci.
Dragon bakal
We
dikontes.
haven't mentioned Jin, who is like 6-0 and 1 getting
nggak
additional
bakal ya.
kills from 5 kills, and Storm Razor plus Yomu's up in the inventory.
Kamu nggak habis, Bang?
Look at
Enggak dulu, ini kan lagi
how many
streaming
damage
ini.
Jin getting into the battle. Replay. Jin is practically
Apakah Anda
playing
tetap
as
setuju ganja itu
like
bagian dari
all of
narkotika
the
satu?
members
Tidak,
from
tidak jelas.
Essence just
Jadi
try to make
marijuana
plays
tidak
across,
memberikan
like,
efek
All-Star,
kecanduan sama sekali.
Marijuana tidak
Jarvan
memberikan efek
as
kecanduan.
well.
Tidak.
So making it try to
Dalam
stop
urutan
for
saat
Jin to be able to finish that with the amount of damage he's getting right now, and he's also very well timed Cataclysm, getting 2 kills, but it's maybe another play.
Yeah, there's just brawls happening all across.
Bobo.
Bottom side is still battle of the top laners, but they were setting their eyes onto a potential takedown on the tier 1 turret up top. There we go, the taunt lands onto Philia as he's got no response whatsoever.
Okay,
Double
Jin,
TP,
perfect
this is gonna be an awkward scenario. The curtain call just to buy that space for Ice Lemon Tea. Well, that could have been a little bit risky, but certainly he still has the Ragnarok to be able to pull out. But luckily, no commitments whatsoever. Triple S, they hold on to this slight lead due to that battle for the Drake. And right now, as it stands, like you said, this Jin is starting to become so much more problematic. And you
Jinnya
also do have
6-0 ya.
Nekodesu, who's currently
Sekarang
8-2-4.
12-14
True,
dan
true.
gold
We
difference-nya
don't see
terpaut
that on
sekitar
camera,
3.200
but
gold.
Nekodesu has taken down Sebastian in a 1v1 fight, so I wonder what happened there. Because both players getting their out so early into the fight, but as
Double smite lagi nggak? Oh
I
nggak double
think-
smite. Cuman double camp doang.
Oh, I think Nekodesu has maybe landed a good enemy boost there that maybe managed
Alistarnya sih yang cuma bisa di ini skillnya.
to
Ulti Syndra-nya di E sih
Exactly
cuma
1v1,
kayak,
I
ya
think.
udah.
Yeah, because there's another fight now. Ari, aka
Oke, Jace. Oh,
Jace
tidak berhasil
now
selamat.
getting punished
Dan
for
United-nya
being overextending
kota.
himself.
Fourth shot-nya
Now
di
he's Sebastian.
guys.
Now he's kept locked down by Deadly Floris. Now Sebastian is now
Eh,
only few
oke.
seconds left
Playful
to
trickster.
get this playful
Oh
trickster
my
and
God.
flash out
He's got
to
a flash.
escape.
Fourth shot-nya.
So,
Fourth shot-nya,
yeah,
guys.
window of timing
Oh my
for
God.
Team Essence to
Tadi udah
punish
animasinya
this
udah ini
down.
cuman ke cancel guys animasinya guys.
Not right yet, but now
Holy moly.
getting harder for face.
Yeah, and the clock's ticking. It's not really
Ada
looking
mau,
all
Kak?
too good for Gucci in the late
Kalau
game,
nggak,
and
nggak
they're
apa.
slowly getting picked apart yet again. First it was their top laner, and now
Okay,
Shen's
Control
gone
Wall.
as well.
Kayaknya bakal di-give aja
On
sih
his
ini
way,
nggak bisa
forced to
di-defense.
look as this one slowly crumbles,
Okay.
but Sebastian have arrived,
hancur.
and they actually
Oh my
find something
God,
return.
that's so
Cataclysm
cute.
locks him into place. There's just nothing that
Terus
Sebastian can do,
Arcade
but
ke depan.
there is austerity. He
Protect
comes in
Call
with a
dibuka.
trade. The curtain call now holds them back. Fourth shot should be coming right
Tanda
through.
connect dan before
It's gonna be
connect.
Scout Week into
Oh my
another
God,
snare
that's
and turns it around. A beautiful
Oh my God,
time
dia press ke
exhaust,
depan,
and
guys.
now slowly
Oh my God.
they have been able to find that Wiggle but Blaze, he's just gonna try to 1v3 this, but he does have just about enough
Holy
movement
moly,
speed to
Ezreal
get
lagi.
out of the way.
Ezreal nggak mau
Wow,
diam-diam, guys.
these guys
Meskipun lagi
unrelenting,
dia, meskipun lagi
not
dia
even
pressure,
yielding
Ezreal
for a
tetap
second.
ngelangkah
But
ke
while
depan,
all of
guys.
that is happening,
Literally
Ice Lemon
flash
Tea is
ke
doing
depan.
work down by.
Real
Offensive
Grass is
play.
just like PvEing on
Holy
the bottom
moly.
lane with the turret tier 2. Meanwhile, 4 of the other members are
nggak bakal
making
di-push,
plays, but we
jadi
see
dapetin turret
like
tier 2
a
di
rather
bot side.
rushed play coming from Gucci on to the mid side, trying to punish, trying to zone Team Essence off of the mid lane with base coming too early.
Nih di sini bisa kekurung kata Cleaser sama hebat key dari Alistar, disatuin begitu aja guys. Oke, lihat nih Ezreal guys, lihat Ezreal guys.
To do whatever he want to do.
Oke, karat banget.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
The side of Team Essence
Boleh.
will get more pressure on the side lanes while the rest of the team will make plays across the map. I think there's gonna be another play coming from
Suara
Team
kamu
Essence
kecil
towards
banget.
the Baron.
Emang iya suaraku kecil guys.
Very likely so.
Suaraku kecil kan?
Really have to
Tadi
pursue
terakhir
much of the maneuvers, but they found the Rashi, brings him down to 60%,
Oke, kita
and they
lihat.
will get the
Deadly Force
perfect
connect, Kara
pulverize
Pantheon.
to hold him
Ulti,
back for the
Exhaust,
meantime.
Karafiz.
Rashi now looking for an angle. There will be an exhaust
Olaf
over
belum
onto
masuk.
Zabaski, but all that
Stana
has been
connect, Kara
negated.
Jace.
They've been able to pull all the way back
Coba jual beli serangan aja guys. Jual beli serangan
Essence.
sebelum objektif.
right now.
Dia mager
Just
bersuara.
making sure they have good
Bukan mager
control
bersuara, ini aku literal udah teriak-teriak loh.
Well, Chum the Waters is already out, and Dragon is out.
Oke, Deadly Force connect.
CC there.
Cang guys.
And
Kurten kill dibuka. Oke, first shot nggak kena. Double shot nggak kena.
Curtain call.
Oke, cepat tembakan 3. Fourth
Will
shotnya
not
kena
get
Shen.
anyone, but getting a good chunk of damage.
Fourth shotnya. Dan Drake sepertinya nggak bakal dikontes guys. Seperti biasa.
The sole point for Team Essence.
Yeah, great work coming from the side of Team Essence, where they've been able to really zone them all away, deal a massive chunk of damage, and cause them to have a little bit of a disarray in order to open so much of that space. Yet again, to Team Essence, 3 Drakes up. Still, perhaps there might just be some form of space that can be found, but it is just
sini
getting
skor
rougher as
18,
it goes. I mean, we take a look at
15-18
builds
dan
as well.
gold
You have
difference
Tunneler
sekitar
as well as Yunus
3.700-an
on this J, so perhaps he might just actually pivot his plan to try to find some cracks where he could just force a split push or so, but that has always been answered by the Olaf down bot. There's also Nekodesu now occupying that space up top, so realistically, they just need to maybe find a little bit more of a decoy in order to set things up for them to start seizing, because they're losing a couple of turrets already, and right now, Gucci, they have won a couple of skirmishes, but it wasn't exactly a clean one. Triple S still overpowered
Alistarnya
because
kena
there's
culik.
just so many beefy units to deal with.
Oke. Seperti biasa. Stun nggak connect.
Zone of Gucci,
Apakah Ci bisa membalikan
double
keadaan?
over at
Masih
the
bisa
Baron
guys,
Pit.
masih
And
sangat-sangat
one thing I want
doable.
to mention is that
Masih sangat-sangat doable. Kalau mainnya rapi masih bisa guys.
Jin off guard.
Oh my
Catching
god,
go.
Alistar.
There we go. The knock and
Jarvan
now
flash.
United. They try to flip the
Freeze.
script around up against
Ulti.
Bailey. He will
Ragnarok,
now
para
go
freeze.
unbreakable.
Oh my
While
god,
it was a
Ezreal.
full collateral
Bicara
damage
sama
with the calculus
Jarvan.
locking them into
Oh my
this
god, that's it.
chokehold.
That's it,
And
that's
there's
it.
just no
it.
escaping out of the grasp of Team Essence.
my
And now,
god.
Barons for the taking.
It's against pretty free for Team Essence as like
SSS apaan kepanjangnya Om? Super Secret. SSS itu Essence.
like practically free.
Essence.
While you see like Alistar from Velia and
Di
also
sini Ragnarok, Olaf ngambil undertow, Karafiz. Olafnya kekurung di ulti Jarvan, anjir.
But well, we see Boy is trying to flip that out.
Oh,
Maybe.
dicoba untuk di
Maybe, just
steal.
maybe. Just a good,
Komit pakai ulti, Pantheon cuman nggak berhasil mendapatkan Baron.
of Team Essence, but yeah, just a little bit too early for him
Alright.
to come down to the Baron pit. So Baron will
7-0 guys,
and
Jidat
now Team
707.
Essence is
Oh
on
my
momentum.
days.
Yeah, it's just so tough. Even born this way, rarely does such
Cheater
risky
press.
plays. But
Bakal
he
jadi
knows,
2-0 gak?
you
Aku
know,
berharap
perhaps
ini
if
gak bakal
he
jadi game yang
manages to steal,
3-0
it might
guys.
just be worth
By the
the
way, ini
cost,
tuh
but,
gamenya best of 5.
well, you got the entire
cari tiga-
squad of
cari
Essence
apa namanya,
right
satu tim
there
cari 3
waiting
poin
for him
kemenangan.
anyway, so
Aku nggak berharap ini bakal jadi
donating a little
3-0
bit
sih,
more
minimal 3-1 lah guys.
well,
Karena
doesn't
Ci pun
change the
ngelawan,
matter
anjir.
of fact that they just basically lost 2 team fights in a row. Or you could basically say just slightly outmaneuvered in essence.
Ini tuh
Back
by
in
the
that
way,
last team
Sans,
fight,
kalau
though,
kamu
Philia,
nge,
he was in that key
si
position.
ngelawan SS
that
itu sebenarnya
gives
literally
the edge
match
over
up
to
kemarin.
XSS.
Kemarin kan sebelum AA aku stream ini juga kan.
It's very vital
Si ngelawan
in,
SSS.
setting up the
Yang menang tuh kemarin tuh Chi 2-1 kan. Chi naik ke upper bracket, terus sementara itu SSS turun ke lower bracket. Nah, tadi jam 5 tuh main tuh SSS ngelawan Sparky di lower bracket. Nah, yang menang SSS ini. SSS naik lagi ke upper bracket ketemu Chi lagi. Jadi itu match up yang sama yang kemarin. Literally tim yang sama, cuman kalau kemarin best of 3 cuma cari 2 poin kemenangan. Kalau sekarang best of 5 karena ini final cari 3 poin kemenangan. Literally tim yang sama. Literally rematch. Selayak-layaknya rematch. Apakah Chi harus mengakui keunggulan SSS sekarang?
Yeah,
Nampaknya ya.
he just needs one more good team fight and he's gonna get that 25 stack. And it starts
Oh
right
my
here.
God,
Wait,
Shen,
scatter the
Pachang,
weak onto the
bisa
hip
flash
of
out,
Pulverize.
masih selamat.
Azabeth barely
Namun
surviving.
Mukul
Thankfully,
mundur.
he makes the cut out
Oh
with the
my
flash
days.
now committed. And here comes Arashi as he's just making his presence felt. Slowly chipping down
my
the
days.
turret health as they do have the empowered minions at play. So perhaps this is going to be a brute force measure coming in from inside of Triple S.
Okay,
And this
ulti
is
dari
going to force
Patriot.
Gucci to respond.
Headbutt
Down
sama
with the
Star.
Grand Skyfall. Router too early though. Is there going to be a response?
Oh,
Arashi now
Ragnarok
hits
nanti.
over onto
Oh,
Austerity
enggak,
as he is able to bring out that Guardian Angel. Not quite enough yet. The fight is far from over. Scouter weak down. Zones them completely. There is still that Cannon working its magic over on mid lane, and now they fully commit, and still not enough for Azabeth to go down, but here comes the curling call as they desperately try to dodge every single shot. Sabaski now avoids all these kind of spaces. It's only going to be one casualty, but it came at a hefty cost.
Blaze with a blazing
Langsung
play
ke
right
turret
there.
tier 3 di bot lane.
Coming into the base of
Kurang
Gucci.
damage sih. Ezreal nggak,
Damage
DPS-nya kurang.
over to Gucci. And
Bukan
now, it's
tipe
secure
AD carry
both
yang
mid lane
raw auto attack,
and
bukan.
bottom lane inhibitors. 30 minutes in, also have a very good chance of securing Dragon Soul.
Yeah, very likely
Skor
not. There's not going to be
15-24,
much
gold
that
difference
could be
terpaut
contested right
11.000
here.
guys.
The rest of Gucci forced to
Kurang lebih
concede
11.000.
this dragon.
Dan
Unless
Drake
perhaps if they
terakhir,
can find the
Soul
right
Drake.
target. And
Ocean.
speaking of which, he then out doing his
Pantheon,
best to
Star,
keep them
Star.
at bay while the Drake is slowly being chipped right
Berhasil
down.
diamankan
And
Ocean
it will
Drake.
still be the Dragon Soul over on the Essence, and they
Oh
just
my
go
God,
in,
that's it.
erupting into the battle with another Cataclysm as Austerity tries his little best to slowly bring
Karajin.
it down. He's only gonna deal
Oh
ship
my
damage,
God.
and there you go. The stun comes true. Ari just barely dodging it right through, and he's being sent limping. The TP's coming right in, and Savaski, can he be the savior in this final reason moment?
Oh
And just
my
like that, he
God.
goes down, and now all
Oh
hopes
my God.
lies onto the Jace. Can he just find anything else? No, it's gonna be the answer as Team Essences
2-0,
will
that's
now
it, that's the
proceed
game.
to the match point.
Game kedua, match point di secure. Oh my days, SSS guys. What a game. Berhasil membalaskan dendam mereka yang kemarin kan. Kemarin by the way 2-1 ya. Menang.
Really exceptional job of punishing those plays coming from
Oh
Gucci.
my
You see,
days.
like Velia and also Arashi with stack of CC.
Masa bakal jadi 3-0 sih di final 3-0 loh. Tapi maksudku kayak si Ci-nya pun ngelawan kok, nggak mainnya tuh nggak yang kayak jelek, cuman ya SSS lebih unggul aja. Mainnya tuh bukan main yang kayak benar-benar kebantai, enggak kayak gitu. Meskipun ke pressure tapi ngelawan.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a perfectly thought out draft as well as execution
Ini
coming in
lebih
from
ke
Team Essences.
lebih ke komposisi timnya
Honestly,
aja
I
sih
would
menurutku.
say that
Aku kan tadi
Gucci,
aku
they've
sebelum
been
gamenya literally
showing
bilang loh guys.
signs of improvements
Aku tadi sebelum
compared
gamenya
to
bilang
game
literally
one.
aku lebih
But
suka komposisi dari
once
SSS.
again, you take a look at this draft and
Ya, that's
you
it.
gotta find answers. How do you deal with not only the Olaf, there's also the Alistair as well as the Jarvan where yes, you might be able to take one or two down, but it is still going to be so tough to actually crack these layers in order to even get to play. So it's been the perfect Jin game for him where he was, like you said, untouched,
moly.
absolutely invincible here in game 2.
True. I think like when it comes down to timing, especially when you pick like such a like early picks like Pantheon and also like this, the early games so vital, but yeah, they cannot execute it like the way they intended, the way they planned. So yeah, 0-2 down, and it's gonna be a tough job for Kichi.
That's right. We'll be coming back shortly after a quick break, and we bring you to potentially our championship matchup.
Oke, break dulu guys, seperti biasa, sekitar 5 menitan guys, break dulu. Oh my days, what a game. What a game. Dulu guys, 5 menit guys, break. Oh my days.
comes out on top. They have to. Here comes the hero's entrance. They have the.
Once again, you're watching the LCP wildcards of Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore for the qualifiers to see who makes it to the playoffs. Sagi, you talked about this, that we could go all the way to 5 games, but right now, is it still possible? It seemed like when the rest of Team Essence moved from the lower bracket back into the finals, not only they came back with a vengeance, but they came in with solid plans in return. You were watching the matches. Tell me, what do you think about the game so far?
Gotta give props towards the side of Arashi and also the side of Vilia. They've been controlling the map extremely well, and talking about consistent performance, Nekodes and Blaze has been really good on the positioning here. And I was talking about like the lane matchup on the 2v2 bottom lane. Yes, we do see 749, which is Austerity, win most of the matchups here, but the mid-game consistency in team fights coming in from Blaze has just been superb.
Yeah, overall, it's just absolutely spectacular, where last game, I think like it was a lot of all these playmaking potential coming in from not only Arashi as well as Filia to form a great wall of defense, but to his own credit, I think like the timely measurements of the curtain calls and everything else coming in from Blaze was just on point.
And you gotta give props, right? Like where they played, I would say what? They played against Sparky 2-0, and then it's like 2 hours of gameplay, bringing over to this grand final against Gucci, which is a team that has beat them in the upper finals, and now coming in towards this final game, leading 2-0. They've been playing 4 games consecutively, and they have still not slipped up whatsoever.
Yeah, that is definitely a great stamina being shown, and now the onus right now falls upon Gucci to really find answers. Where if they were keeping any secret strats or even certain picks for the draft, they gotta now unfold it right here, or else it could just be swept under the rug with Essence taking all 3 games. We go through the bans real quick. We saw Nafiri, Caitlyn, as well as Callista taken off the list. A very high target onto Austerity this time around.
And also, you talk about changes need to be made, right? They did do a change coming in from Gucci. It's no longer Born This Way 7 in towards the jungle. It's the Blueprint coming in as emergency substitute in this
Lee Sin
elimination.
bakal dikasih lagi. Lee
I
Sin
definitely think
kasih
that
Kalista.
this
Belajar dari
should
kesalahan
be
guys.
managed
Kalista yang kemarin
with
pentakil guys. Essence nggak ngasih Kalista sama sekali buat Chi guys. Kemarin Kalistanya pentakil guys. Sumpah ini bener-bener Essence tuh nyerap banget permainan dari Kok nggak join di situ bang? Gimana di sini jadi pemain? Nggak, levelku belum nyampe sini sih KPM.
Picks, so that's off to a good start for the side of Gucci. This time playing on the right side.
And Oriana being locked in.
Beda sih kalau
meskipun
turnamennya online gitu ya, tapi kalau main di stake tinggi gitu ya, kalau main di apa namanya?
Prioritizing that mid
kalau main di permainan besar tuh grogi jir sumpah. Aku pernah soalnya. Aku pernah soalnya ikut turnamen kayak gitu, terus kayak kalau udah masuk semifinal atau final tuh tangan tuh gemeteran anjir sumpah, kayak nggak fokus, kayak demam panggung apa ya istilahnya. Tapi
and of course it's also
ya gitulah pokoknya.
A target that is so difficult to catch as well, and the more kills he
Sivir
actually
Karma,
gets with his ultimate, it just becomes even more
Sivir
tough.
Karma.
Just basically
Oh my god. Nah ini ada
somebody
Cerao
out
lagi
there.
nih, ini
And
ada Cerao
Gucci
speed.
this time
Ada
they
Cerao
opt
speed.
for not only a very steady but also a great ramping
Sivir Karma, siapa ya yang bisa ngelawan
bottom
Sivir
lane
Karma?
where it is almost difficult to break through with
Saya
both
Rakan
Karma
masih
as well as
open.
Sivir locked in. So back towards the side of Essences, so they might opt to maybe leave those bottom lane picks for later as they secure themselves a Sin down.
And you gotta be wondering, okay, Sivir, Karma, what do they have in common? Movement speed boost, right? And who functions well movement speed? It's Hecarim, which is one of Blueprint's known picks throughout the C solo queue ladder. So that could be a potential pickup coming in on this red side third pick here.
Lulu, di-pick Lulu dulu, oke, tapi ADC-nya enggak.
Essence's third pick, so we might be seeing a
Lulu.
hyper carry coming
Yunara
in from
udah,
Blade. But
Yunara
knowing for a
Lulu
fact that it's
udah,
gonna be
Yunara
second
tuh udah
phase,
dipakai.
more of these ADCs will be locked
Lulu
away.
siapa nih?
What?
That's some really great shout as well when you talk about that hacker and that
Long match kah atau kayak beda tim?
pulling out on to those
Masih
solo
tim yang
queue
sama.
ladders.
Ini
And
udah
right now,
udah
you
match
see
up
a
point,
lot of
udah match
defensive
point.
answers coming in
Udah match
with,
point.
you know,
Kalau
Lulu
SSS menang
as
lagi
well as
3-0,
Sin Zhao,
kalau
and
Chi yang menang
it's not
berlanjut.
too many of
Ini
all
match
these
point.
available ADCs that's currently available, and I think like at the very least
Lulu partnernya sama
Jungle
siapa
might be
nih?
able to plow
Yunara
through
nggak
the
bisa.
firstly,
Caitlyn di ban, Kalista di ban.
shown last game from the side
Karena
of
Sivir diambil.
Let's like look into the potential ADC picks, right? What would Lulu?
Lulu Jinx,
so
maybe?
You have no more Ezreal, Yunara, Jin, Lucian, Kalista, and Caitlyn. Maybe the Kog'Maw will be a pick here.
Kog
coming
mau
in from the
Lulu
side
bisa,
of
Kog mau Lulu
Essence,
could
if
work.
It's not bad.
I was just thinking about
Mau
the
Lulu
Parasite
into
immediately
Trundle.
away. Well, I guess there's a few more on the list, but it is going to be a tough pool for him to crack this one.
I think potentially some
Harus di ban, oke. Bagus ini target dari Chi. Ya, mungkin bisa target ADC-nya sih.
Team Gucci. So if they lock in the Kog'Maw, it could very well just outscale that Xavier coming in with prosperity.
Oh my
Unless
god.
they drop
Kog'Maw,
like
please
some
ban
very
Kog'Maw,
strong
please.
backline assassination or
Please
Titan
ban
coming in from the
Kog'Maw.
side of Gucci.
Chi, please ban Kog'Maw.
Yeah, you gotta find something that pairs very well with the Lulu as well. So I'm thinking even if they want
Zeri
to
Lulu
offer
maybe? Zeri, okay, Zeri di
decent
ban.
option, which
Okay.
I would still think that
Chi
the Kog'Maw would
memutuskan
be
untuk ban
one of the
Zeri,
best,
ya. Zeri
one
Lulu,
on the
it's
table.
annoying.
Ashe is not too much of a bad shout altogether, but you just gotta not try to
Please.
pull one
Kog'Maw,
arrow
akan
onto
na Kog'Maw.
the Zeri to get spell blocked. Other than that, I think like it definitely has a good use case, or perhaps if they could find something with a decent enough chain crowd control to enable Nekodes on his shockwave, that will also be pretty potent. But that's pretty much the job for the top lane later on. But on this second phase, we're seeing a lot of hard carry.
Anivia, alright.
I really
Aku suka
Fiora,
Anivia.
so this
Anivia.
time around, it's gonna be the answer coming
Anivia.
in from Gucci to bring Anivia on the block.
Are they trying to lock in like a last pick Vayne towards the top lane or something? Because at the very least, this Anivia can still flex in towards the top lane with Sabasky or 1JW, and they can also lock in that Vayne
Jinx!
if you're looking
Lulu
for a
Jinx,
clear- I'm
bener
loving
kan?
the Jinx pick here.
That's
Not
what
a
I
lot of
said,
setup
bro.
from the
Lulu
side of
Jinx.
Gucci to
That's
potentially
literally what I
punish this
said.
extremely laking
Oh my
composition,
days.
because if you lock in one more range, that's going to be benefiting Arashi Sin Zhao so well, because we know for a fact Present God on that ultimate coming in from Sin Zhao blocks range attacks if it's outside of the circle here. So it's going to
Cameo.
be slightly difficult for Gucci to break this composition. At the very least, make it not late game, because the late game potential coming in from Team Essence is just insane so far in this draft.
Yeah, I think that their
Ngantuk
late
banget
game
lompat
is
tidur
going
sore,
to look
tahan gak ya sampai jam 16?
absolutely scary.
Emang mau ngapain?
And
Kalau
with
ngantuk
the
mah tidur
final
aja
pick
tuh,
of the Camille
Lagi
as
nungguin
well,
apa
now
emang ya?
this definitely makes things a little bit more interesting. So they get to single out one target, but you got to be mindful. You have the wall growth, and also if you have that Mega Gnar in those team fights, that's a lot of displacements coming in from the side of Essences, which Gucci really has to pay respect to. So in order for that execution to work, you gotta also ensure that not only you just have that exit ultimatum, you need that perfect wall coming for Zabasky to make this work.
Very similar draft right coming in from both teams is really front to back with singular source of engage coming in from both sides. So on the right side, forward side of Gucci's red side draft, you will want slow and steady pacing, give time to the Anivia, give time to the Sivir to realistically scale into those late game timers here. At the very least, yeah, you can give all your turrets, but the waves will be automatically cleared
let's go,
once
match
they reach
point.
into the high ground, because
Wait,
there's
aku
just
excited-
so
aku
much
excited
wave
banget,
coming
guys.
in
Aku
from side of
excited
Gucci.
banget.
For Team Triple S, it's about giving the Jinx, giving the Orianna time to scale, and once they scale to fruition, they can dominate those two fights.
Yeah, and it's really about zoning out some of all these team fights as well if they were to actually move in as a unit. So I think that the Anivia pick does come in handy, but Anivia is also a pick that is somewhat a little bit more vulnerable if you're being caught in a really bad position. And we talked about how many displacement spells. You got the Shockwave, you got Mega Gnar, and like so much more of these, which you gotta also ensure that Gucci protects this Anivia on top of all the other layers. But Austerity, so far he's been having pretty good games as an ADC, it's just that he hasn't found that pop-off moment. I remember the last time we saw him play, even back in the LCP, his Savior was also really solid, but you're not really expecting too much out of that early game with this pick.
You will need a lot of coverage, right, coming in for your team. At the very least, when we see these two draft, there's not a lot of early game aggression coming in from either of the bottom laners. It will fall more onto the hands of both junglers. The emergency substitute coming in from Team Just where you have the Trundle on Blueprint versus the Xin Zhao on the side of the Arashi, for example, right? These two will be the anchor and also the game planners to see who can actually break that early game.
Yeah, I think like this is where we really want to see all these questions being answered overall. I mean, when we take a look at this what I call it, an emergency substitution or necessary adjustment just to really throw a curveball at Essence, I think if there's any other time, it is right now, because for 2 games in a row, you saw Arashi was just basically overpowering in so many instances. Perhaps they've been spending a little bit of time to be able to read patterns of the jungle, so I think like this could be the change of pace necessary. Maybe slow the game down and play it in a stable way, then they could basically call for big fights when they need to.
They need something of change, right? Like change of wind or something that can actually propel them in this series, because so far they are 0-2 down in a BO5 Grand Finals in the LCP NYSGI qualifiers here. One more loss and they are out. And they've been having one of the best runs in their lifetime in this 2026 year, where they won every single opponent and sat comfortably in the upper bracket finals. And now they're down 0-2. You won't be feeling too good about that.
Not at all. This is the first time we actually see them flinch for a little bit, but hopefully that does not dampen their spirit overall. I mean, if anything, it should actually lit a fire in their hearts right now to prove a point that they still have what it takes to at least push the rest of Team Essence to the limit. And up till now, the entire evening that we've watched Team Essence, they're really not showing all too much signs of weaknesses, if anything at all. Like you've pointed out, their consistency level is off the charts. Like, you have not only Arashi on his current prime form, I think that Neko has always been this great backbone of his to just keep on enabling how this engine runs from the side of Team Essence, and the top side has been holding his own. You saw a lot of all these instances where you thought maybe that matchup might not be the greatest for their likes, but hey, they made it work. Thus, so far, has really shown that he is definitely one to be able to match up to the previous champions of LCP wildcard. So now I think like we are seeing a little bit of that power shift coming true.
To your point, right, I think consistency matters a lot, and it has been shown from time to time coming in from 2 key players from the side of Team Essence, where Arashi and Philia have been holding their grounds insanely well throughout this BO5. And then when you compare it to Born This Way 7 and Azavet, it hasn't been the most eye-catching performances. They've been, I would say, slightly outplayed in the jungle and also the support department.
Yeah, I would definitely think that there is definitely the kind of roster shift that actually needs time for them to also form that kind of bond. We're not too sure, you know, how long of a time have they spent all together. Now, we do actually receive a little bit of news that we will have to redo the draft. I believe there was an error over onto the drafting phase, so perhaps we'll give them a little bit of time to make that certain adjustment. I don't think it's going to be all too major, so we will, of course, take a couple of minutes to sort that one out. Meanwhile, when we talk about, you know, the chemistry between Philia as well as Arashi, these boys, they played together for so many years all together. They were together in Sem9, like you pointed out as well. They played in LCP at one point, even back then when it was called the Pacifics, so PCS. Yeah, a little bit of a throwback. So
long ago.
it's been a while, despite, you know, their run at, even in their time as, well, I believe there was BJD that they were also playing in. If my memory serves me correct.
That was in
But-
PCS too, yeah.
Yeah, so they go all the way back, even during the times that, I mean, you probably know them quite personally, as well as players that even on their heydays they have shown so much potential, and to keep it at such a high level up to this day has been pretty astounding. I mean, overall, the 10 players that we have on, 5 on each side so far, they are definitely the cream of the crop.
I mean, NYSGID, you have been proving yourself from time and time again, and we jump back in towards the draft. So our third pick will be swapped into a Kaisa for the side of Team Essence this year. So wonder what actually happened there. But so going into the fourth and fifth phase, it will be more different. Oh, Lulu has been picked in Fearless draft, so they can't actually pick Lulu.
Oh, that makes a whole lot more sense.
Game
now,
one, I think. Yeah, it was the
yes.
Lulu and Yunara, so that won't be available. Yeah, that makes much more sense now. Yeah.
Yeah, and
By the way,
well,
ini pick and ban-nya diulang lagi guys
we
ya.
definitely have missed that
Somehow
one out.
pick
So,
and ban-nya diulang
now
lagi.
that
Jir.
changes a lot of things, right? Even the bans on the second phase has been pretty much focused on to the kind of tank supports that
Tadi
still
Jinx
left
kan, tapi
available.
kenapa sekarang Kaisa
So
Jir?
very likely than not, I would think that this might actually see a kind of shift in maybe bring in another support that is more of a utility base, as well as an enchanter, which we saw a lot of play in recent times. That Seraphine has been quite popular, which I think with this kind of setup, it could be quite potent as well. So it really depends on whether if there is also
Perasaan tadi
other
Jinx
options
Lulu dah.
that is
Di sini
also feasible, because if you're
Lah?
just relying onto one, well, I believe we also saw a Rakan, didn't we? Oh, that was on the lower bracket.
That was on a lower bracket. So
yeah,
it was
okay.
also played by Philia, I remember, into a Silas, if I'm not mistaken here.
Lah?
And it was also playing with Arashi.
Bobotnya
so
diganti Jir jadi
this is
Kaisa
an
Rakan Jir.
interesting
Tadi Jinx
composition, right,
Lulu
where
loh.
you have the ball
What
carrier
happened bro?
on
Something
Philia
happened,
or Arashi to dive deep in towards the backline to find austerity
Did
on that
something
Sigurd.
happen,
So
bro?
you have someone to break the spell shield and then carry the Oriana Shockwave to
Did
cause chaos
something
in that
happen?
background. And that's going to be a Jax lock in for 1JW, a very ego, and I won't say ego, it's more of like a main character pick, you know what I mean? It's like you need to carry.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
get
you think of this pick as like BLG Bin, and BLG Bin is
Lulu
main
emang
character
dipakai
energy,
game
right?
berapa Lulu?
And I think like it works
Oh, yeah.
wonders if, say, this goes to the top lane, and
boleh.
you know, when you're going up against Nar, you could block so much.
Oh iya
of all
tadi kan
these
udah ya
all-in
Wild
attacks,
Growth. Oh iya iya
that
iya
could
benar-benar Lulu udah
easily
dipakai
shift
tadi.
the focus of the fight
Benar,
overall.
benar.
So, in team fights, however, we want to see how well can he actually put it into a perfect play, because you got a Trundle as well as a Jax, both very, very farm heavy champions. So we're talking about ultra late game in order to ensure that all the gears are running perfectly for the side of Gucci.
I think Gucci makes a lot of sense, right? Where you have insane wave clear coming in from Anivia and also Severe. Yeah, maybe you can lose out the early game for a slight bit, but you can stall the game indefinitely, especially at the high ground, because it's extremely hard to punish a Severe with Spell Shield and also an Anivia with the Egg passive. So they have a lot of choices to be made. At the very least, make sure that you don't trail behind like monstrous amount of deficit, like 5 to 7k gold. Make sure the gold deficit is, or gold lead is within a 3,000 difference. Then you can stall the game into big item power spikes, outscale the Kaisa, outscale the likes of the Gnar on your side lanes.
Yeah, overall, even when it comes down to stalling, you say the
Anjir, udah
ult
dipikir
itself
lu, ya
can
lupa, anjir.
just easily
Ya,
just clear
manusiawi
waves
lah.
after waves. So there's just not too much of a problem in those kind of departments. And if chances allow, if they do get maybe more of the objectives over on the top quarter of the map, if they get to accelerate the game with a Rift Herald or Swords, you can just open up so much potential in the form of split pushing as well, with the two picks that we did mention on the jungle as well as top.
I think you make a very nice sense, right? Where the Jax is one of the win condition coming in from the side of Gucci, where there is not much of a side lane handler coming in from the side of Essences, where in the late game, this Jax is going to be a monster to be dealing with. They don't necessarily have to take on the 5v5. It's going to be 4v4, 1JW on the Jax towards the side lane, and looking for a bit of a punishment to make sure that they can't outpush you, but they have to worry about the side lane.
Yeah, that could definitely be something that is of a concern now. I had a funny idea or a thought, like, what if that Anivia wall backfires and allows their teammates to be knocked onto their own wall? Well, let's hope that that does not happen at all.
It's not only a wall, right? There's also a pillar coming in from the trundle.
Yes, sir. There is a pillar too. Now, of course, this could potentially be the final matchup of our night. We'll see if that happens to be the case, because Gucci is still fighting to bring this to game 5.
They need to do whatever it takes. Match point on the line. Tournament lives
sebelumnya
at
level
stake,
1
and
war
that's
di
not
Raptor.
all.
Kita lihat ya
It's
aggression.
also
Kemungkinan
about
enggak sih soalnya
representing
bela
the
Nivea.
region to the LCP wildcard qualifiers. There's only one start, and it's gonna be happening between Essences and also Gucci.
The major change coming into this matchup here is Blueprint, and overall, I think he's definitely had great track records over the past where he's joined tournaments, and also have been able to show really great work over on the course of the last arena that was played out.
I mean, Blueprint was the player that went all the way into the MSI, right, after playing and winning the Demon Hunter Arena.
That's the guy that we talked about, so we're definitely having, of course, a lot of all these good hopes, and especially when you've been watching all these match, analyzing to study the patterns of the opponents, and you're the jungle by the way, you have definitely a whole lot of say of how things could actually work out. Some pokes have already happened, and that top lane matchup definitely seems to be pretty intriguing. Of course, with both sides needing to scale, but there's some aggressive stance now being shown coming in from Mr. Ari. Well, Gucci so far might be able to have a little bit of a great opener if he does hit level 2 first.
Jax, good trade.
Amazing laning phase coming in from the side of 1JW here. He played the bush play extremely well, and he maintained his attack speed passive to consistently grab passive against the side of Dusnar. So that's going to be a very well-on laning phase coming in from the top lane for the side of Gucci.
Yeah, just gotta ensure that you continuously zone off the Gnar. Just to, of course, get everything smooth sailing here in the game. But both sides of the junglers are actually starting off pretty much parallel, so they will be mirroring and perhaps converging onto that bomb scuttle, which would be an interesting sort of trade. But instead, Blueprint actually goes in to check over blue and finds nothing at all, while the top side.
Okay, top side. Stun.
But dangerously low coming in for the side. Does find the execution damage on towards
my god.
going over to the side of 1JW.
Guys.
Wow, he just basically build up that slow, steady pacing of those chip damages from the laning phase and just found that perfect execution. And he also timed the flash so nicely. Even despite him turning on the Mega, it didn't exactly help at all. He just shot right through. And despite the stuns, it wasn't enough. He found that lead timing. And that final blow of W has been able to find the last drop of damage to bring 1JW that first kill of the game.
I think that was numerical perfectness, where if he didn't have grass, he didn't have his W proc or any of the spells available, he wouldn't be able to take down Ice Limity at all. But throughout the exchange as well, Arashi did spot out the Blueprint's rotation towards that top side, stealing away a blue buff for their loss in that top side.
Yeah, that sustain as well as the durability. It's only gonna make things a lot worse if the Ice Lemon Tea does not really respect the kind of spacing that this Jax could potentially dish out. And bottom lane is kind of suffering the same fate with the waves now crashing right through, also soaking with a little bit of that ricochet cutting right across. So Ice Lemon Tea looking to be a little bit more on that reserve as well. Now, take a look at this. Rashi is now arriving, but sitting on top of the ward. This isn't going to be all too much a problem, as there is a convergence coming from Blueprint.
Nice one coming in from the side of Blueprint here, forcing the flash coming out of Arashi here. It's gonna be a 2v2, but there's just so much minions coming in for the side of Gucci here, forcing Arashi to take the walk of shame back to the ground.
Yeah, that's two sums, heavily blown out, and also frees up a plating, but with the rest of these members not really responding, it still allows Blueprint to also cut right across to steal this grapple away, and it seems like Arashi will have to let this one pass because his smite is not up online just yet.
The pressure single-handedly generated by
Oh
1DW
my
has
God.
been amazing
His
here. Winning the
sidestep
lane,
there.
converting it into jungle pressure. So this entire top side has been won over by this Jack shift. That's why we see the last
Oke,
pick counter pick
sementara
was
musuh
given
1
over to
menit
this Jack
4,
specifically
Both
for
difference
this game.
terpaut sekitar 700 gold.
Yeah, I believe he probably has played plenty of all these matchups to deal with those pesky Nars and it's like, oh, I hate ranged top players, and just whips out his secret jacks out of nowhere. And this was also due to the fact that you mentioned he has to play as if he's Gigabin in order to make this one work as well. Now, as much as he's pretty much close to equal on the CS department, he's already been able to really churn out some of all these
Aduh,
early
kenapa digeser anjir?
key components in order to continuously pound the pressure, whereas it's only gonna be Doran sits up online for the side of Iceland T, so he's just gotta hold back for a little bit more, which is willing to do so.
Hasn't really
Meanwhile-
found the recall yet, right? Coming in for the side of Iceland. And for Blaze and Philia, not the best laners on their specific champions here, so they'll probably flourish more if it's coming down to one full item team fight.
That's true. And speaking of that, VS Sword already available for the side of Austerity. Might just have some extra damage to dish out if they were to actually go in for the Drake contest, as Blueprint is slowly working his way from the Wolves. Cut right across as the rest of Gucci has already prepped pretty well. And good placements of wards as well to also read the pattern of movements coming in from Arashi this time around. So coast is clear for them to actually kick things off with, as Arashi's just gonna go to the other side just to trade in with a Raid Bramble back of his own.
Not even a trade, right? It's just straight up stealing from the enemy jungle because there's no dragon is being taken over into that bottom lane. So this red buff will be taken over freely into the hands of the Essence's jungler.
Yeah, Arashi just knows his timing just so well. As a matter of fact that he's just going to be able to search past ahead in the amount of camps that is acquired up against Blueprint by doing so. As he walks right into almost an empty cam, and now he just goes in pinging. Yep. Yep. I just lost it.
Like nightmare fuel coming in for jungle players is like, but I didn't see him. Like, where did he go? Where did my red buff go? All of a sudden.
Like, yeah. Some ghost just snatched it away. And that ghost is called Arashi.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, thankfully it wasn't on that Nocturne, man. That thing scares, it just gives everyone a jump scare. That's literally a Casper with, I don't know, claws moving around. So
you need some Ghostbusters to actually fix that here.
yeah, unfortunately, Gucci doesn't look too much like a Ghostbuster so far with the past 2 games, right? But
Well, they do
they
look
should
good
definitely
coming
make
in.
things
They do look good coming in towards this potentially final game. At the very least,
much better.
7-2-4, which is Austerity, and also Azavat, they've been winning the lane pretty comfortably. 10 CS up in towards that specific matchup here. But more worried whenever they're looking for the first team fight. Dragon has yet to be touched coming in for both teams. It's going to be potentially started here by Blueprint.
Yeah. Ask and you shall receive. But also keep in mind, take a look at the min map as well. The rest of Triple S are making a beeline over onto Drake. Ward now spots him out. They might want to delay this for a tad bit because Nekodesu is in great position to perhaps drop in a shockwave and out anytime now. Blueprint's all alone.
Is coming in on side of Blueprint. Blueprint gets immediately blown apart as they are looking for a consecutive play, but a nice stun on towards Blaze, punishing him for any additional play. The Link does land on towards Filia, but where is the follow-up here? Azabeth pays with his life for the over-aggression here. Savasky still has the egg, 7-4, still looking for more poke damage on towards him. Nice flash away from the knock-up here, getting the trade away for that kill.
My
But
God,
Savasky has no flash, he has no mana. He will be taken down in this exchange, and Neko will be with one, laughing all the way towards the end as Dragon kills all go in favor for the side of Essences in this deciding game tree.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where it is, miscom or what, because we see Blueprint still committing to that Drake instead of pulling away, whereas the rest of his teammates were all the way at the back. They try to recommit, and then you saw Arashi just breaks wall in when he unleashes his ult, just negating all that damage, while Fila had to sacrifice his life, but that's absolutely okay. Savasky basically is churning not all too much because he's got no mana to dish out the damage, so Austerity, he tried his hardest to really yield something in return, but it all was laid down on paper. Triple S, that was magnificent. They got the Drake, they got the kills, and now they won even more. They might even get the grubs in hand.
At the very least, 1JW has the priority on towards that matchup against Dark, so this grubs will be shared freely between both teams here. As we see, there's a knockup coming from Arashi on towards Blueprint. There might be a bit of a misplay here as 1JW still goes in, has to pop the flash. Neko has the shockwave, is still chasing, finds the shockwave on towards 2. Both targets has no flash. They might be the sacrificial lamb for the over-aggression here as Savasky and Azabeth will pay with their lives as a double kill will be picked up by Nekodes on that Orianna mid lane.
Wow, that well-timed shockwave was absolutely golden. Let's take a look at it again. As much as there was a zoning, and then you saw Neko, he just moves in, catches both Savasky, and it was pretty much all laid to the ground. And now this is going to be so problematic. Neko Desu, 501, has the Luden's Essence already completed, whereas that Rod of Ages is only at 1 stack. I mean, overall, you're just playing for that late game, but is there going to be a late game at this point?
I don't know. I can't answer you because having a Ludens at this point of the game at 11 minutes, he's already insanely fed. 4 stacks on that Dark Steel here.
Just play for bot, bro. Just play for bot, bro.
Team SSS wants to fight. If you're on the side of Gucci, you gotta be backing off because you can't take fights when this arena is this big.
Yeah, and on top of that, Boots of Swiftness is like, yeah, sure, go ahead, pop those Mantra E's or even the elf coming in from Civic to try to catch me because she could just boost herself and just walk right out of the fight or re-enter the fight easily. So, speaking of which, Neko Desu on the prowl, trying to score a little something. And you've also mentioned earlier, the ball delivery system, they haven't put it into play, but you can already sense it later on what Filia could potentially do with the quickness as well. So that could be very, very potent. We saw a glimpse of that on that past team fight. So this is still going to be the rest of Gucci needing to cook, needing to really find some breathing space at the very least. Right now at 12 minutes, it's still not too much of a gap. So I would still say that there's still more that can be worked with for the side of Gucci, so that's the only good news, but the jungler's slightly behind right now. You take a look at optimization, you could basically argue, oh, maybe Blueprint hasn't backed away, but he also has a couple camps being stolen from Arashi.
Oh, not the worst, right?
Oh my god,
and it's a solo bolo from Nekodes against Savasky in that mid lane. 6-0-1 on their Orianna, and no one is stopping this man.
An absolute boss, knowing the damage numbers, knowing that this bird ain't gonna do anything up against me, while Arashi also gets another full clear of the Raptors once again. Blueprint bleeding out dry.
Looking rough.
It's only so much you can do just to clear out the waves. And now, 30 seconds onto the Cloud Drake as well. I think this is just still the ball on the court of Triple S.
That was just a QW coming in from the side of the Orianna and Luden's proc. And Blueprint took like, what, 40% of his damage? That just shows how ahead this Orianna is at this 13 minimum.
And the moment he saw that, like, okay.
Oh my god!
Nice wall coming in from the side of Savasky, blocking the escape back coming in from Arashi. But nice quickness into the grand entrance to stall time for Arashi to escape towards safety here. Meanwhile, Azabeth flashes forward with that Q. Doesn't get it though. Damage is too sufficient coming in from Nekodas as he's just piling on towards every single member with his Oriana. And it's already a double kill. As it has no flash, has to run for the hills, but gets taken down by the final damage proc from Arashi, and Nekodas is just piling on towards every single
Berarti si
member.
Zhao-nya Blasting
802,
di cancel sama
100%
E-nya Trundle
KDA
atau
on this
W-nya
specific
Anivia.
Oriana pick.
Si Zhao-nya
That was
flash,
incredible.
kejedot,
Did you just saw
tapi nggak
Blaze?
mati.
He is
Si
willing
Zhao-nya ulti.
to risk
Oh,
his
sama
life
Trundle.
going in
Flash kejedot.
just to drop that
Oh
heal,
my
and
God,
that
bro.
saves Arashi, and he still
Filia.
walks out at 5.
Look at Filia.
Holy moly, holy moly,
Into
Sinzo.
the grand entrance. Disengaging for Arashi, and then this is where Neko is
Holy
already
moly,
here,
bro.
and his damage is, like we
God
mentioned,
damn.
overskilled over this specific minute mark where every single player, he walks up towards you get a ball, and they just take so much damage in
Nice
these
try
exchanges.
though, nice try though.
Yeah,
nice try
it's
though,
just
Trundle.
too much to handle right now, and he is forced to actually use the Megalor just to knock him over,
Conqueror
just to
into
escape.
Trundle-nya
This is where-
Conqueror juga sih
Yeah,
harusnya.
maybe you might still have that slightly winning matchup over the top side, but at this rate, your team's getting blown up by this Oriana, already having 10 stacks on the Magi as well, so
Luden
it's
into Magi
continuously,
into
tough to answer. Like, overall, we saw the shielding itself is
Needlessly
already
large
humongous to keep teammates alive. Arashi tries to scale over the wall to
Are
find
you
something
sure want to
for
contest this
Blueprint now.
dragon, Chi?
Respects that.
Are you
knowing
sure about that?
Filia is going to be close by. Filia's looking for a target.
Yeah, just walk away,
Pushing
bro.
them away, opening up the
Just
vision
walk
and
away,
the map
bro.
for this specific play on this dragon here. We're on 3000 here. I don't think there's any potential for them to actually steal
Oh
the
my
action
God,
here.
there's a
And
threat
also, but the
software,
shockwave
that's it,
delivery
bro.
system catches onto his tree.
Oh
And
my
Arashi
God,
goes in
Grand
and
Entrance and
leads
Shockwave.
austerity in that first initial play.
Oh,
And the
that's it,
Blueprint
bro,
will be
that's
taken
it,
down
bro,
and
that's it.
torn apart as
Holy
the
moly.
Blueprint for the success of Team Gucci
Oh
will
my
be slowly
God.
but surely torn
What
into
happened,
pieces.
though?
Chop signed and delivered from Filia. Another
Grand
golden
Entrance,
flame.
ulti, Shockwave.
That was
Grand
just
Entrance, flash.
a sight of beauty
Oriana
as we
ulti.
saw all of them were just stuck with the shockwave, and it was just finishing touches coming from Ice Lemon Tea and Co. Neko
Bro,
Desu,
the
you thought he
jungle,
was
bro.
just consistent. Now
The
he's showing us that
jungle,
he
shit down
is
into
the
Trundle, bro.
complete mid laner that has been
Oh
besting
my
out
God.
every
16 menit,
one else
13
in
banding
the solo
4,
queue ladder.
gold
But here comes
difference
the TP
sekitar
though.
Nice
6.000.
mark on towards side on Neko. Neko
Okay,
gets
counter
caught by
strike.
Tether. Tether does
Connect.
land. He doesn't get a trade on towards Azabeth.
nggak dapat
Azabeth
shutdown.
matches on towards safety here, but Neko,
Slow.
he has nowhere to go. There's no
Flash
teammates here.
kill.
Nice shutdown.
Shutdown,
Going
1000
into the
gold.
favor
Maybe.
1JW. That's going to be
Maybe there is a
cha-ching.
chance, though.
1K go into his pockets.
1060 to be very specific.
Game not
And
over
I'm
yet, bro.
pretty sure he
Game
still has a
not over
bounty on
yet.
his,
Let's go.
his head right now, but the rest of the essences are trying to answer back. There is a little helping hand coming in from the Blueprint, and once again, they need to really find more of all these sort of kickoffs. And as I was pretty much right, there's still another 150 bounty onto Neko, and the next one was actually Arashi. He's also got 450, so yeah, maybe feed all of this to this Jax, and he might just be 1v5ing in the late game.
Hey, you need time, right? You need to stall the game indefinitely because at 17-minute mark after that 1K bounty into your pockets, you're still trailing behind like what? Almost 6,000 gold?
Yeah, it's absurd. I'm also kind of intrigued at the builds as well. I do believe that he's working into Sundered Sky or so, but you might want to consider some magic resistance as well since you're dealing with this huge Oriana, and I would say that overall, they're going to leave that for a little bit later. Now,
17,
they're trying to find a patch.
Might be caught into a particular position here, but it's just not enough damage to take down this Gnar. So Ice playing it within reach, giving so much space for the side of Essences to wreak havoc in towards that side lane.
Yeah, they're definitely looking for a trade where they're popping Shelly over a top side here. Should be too much of a hassle for them to actually get this team to clear in brief moment.
Bot side
Bottom low.
does, finds, play, has to pop the flash though, but this is the thing that we don't really talk about for Dust.
Alright.
The way that he plays weak side is amazing.
Let's just
Yeah,
scale, bro.
there's
Let's
a
just
lot of beautiful
scale.
plays happening between Arashi, Nekodes, and also Filia. But the way that Dust plays that weak side, every time there's like, what, 2-3 members piling on towards him, he makes sure that he isn't the weak link that gets traded on towards the cross. He plays the weak side very disciplined and very well.
Yeah. Not Wally take some notes as well. Well, overall, I absolutely do agree when you take a look at this Gnar. A lot of all these Mega Gnar usages were to actually waste a lot of the time coming in from Gucci members chasing after him. And by the time that he actually goes into the team fight, it should be up and available. The only thing about Nars is that you gotta charge in with those auto attacks, which you can find plenty of when it comes down to the team fight. And well, those combos coming in from Triple S so far has been Philia as well as Neko Desu, and then you have Arashi as a safety measure, right? Imagine having Dust to also drop in the Mega Tart to really rip them all apart. That would be absolutely devastating, which we might be able to see it eventually. We get a little bit of a replay here with Philia.
This is just Philia trying to cancel recall so that his team can actually get towers onto the side lane, because he canceled the blueprint and the 1JW once, and he was like, no, you're not going back. So he sacrificed himself in exchange of a bottom tier 1 and also a top tier 2. So that was just amazing from Philia.
Yeah, well, at least we got something entertaining as well, enjoyable for the highlights.
That's true, though. Okay.
I mean, overall, everything's been entertaining. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But of course, we need some blooper clips. Another one.
Another replay? Okay, so... Oh, Azabeth face checking this bush. He does have the flash, though. Oh, into the Kaisa killer instincts here. So he's going to be out of play for the upcoming Dragon. So there's going to be a lot of people here in towards that top side. -17 does. He has to be careful here. Gets stopped by the pillar here, but there is the Mega Gnar. They just pop the Mega Gnar. They will respect the specific player. I don't think they can actually dive it. They don't have enough damage. The wave clear is really good. Nice pound towards the wall. Into the chain CC stun. So much damage taken by 1JW. Gets another boulder towards the face. Mini Gnar will be going for the chase, but the pillar stucks him in his place.
Yeah, I mean, they're using so much time just to make a play here, and instead the rest of Essence is here.
Philia, nice quickness in towards the backline here. Charms on towards 3, into the grand entrance towards 2, but there's no total of damage for anyone. Neko has to run for the hills as he gets straight off, and he will be taken down as Blaze. He's still running, he's still gunning, he's looking for the play, but the counter strike to disengage 1JW, but a triple kill does go over to the side of the triple SAD carry here. A nice individual play, but on the losing side, Just G does get 3 for 3 trade though, but so that's pretty okay for Just G.
Yeah, not too bad after all, especially just having just enough mana to be able to pull that counter-strike off. And it all started off with this botched attempt to dive onto the Gnar, which was never really the brightest idea. And then you saw that plan coming through. Philia once again goes in, perfect setup with the quickness, and then that was just party time coming in from Neko Desu, but they found the target that they want to acquire, which was absolutely huge coming in from LJW.
But look at this counter-strike. If this counter-strike wasn't available, that could be a clean house coming in from Blaze. So they do put a lot of gold back into the pockets of 724 Austerity, Severe, and also 1JW's Jax. So that's good news if you are a Gucci fan.
That's true, and we take a look at the builds as well. You're almost hitting that 100%
Jax kayaknya bakal bikin zone-nya
for
selanjutnya deh.
The Severe. So Austerity so far still has his magical touches. Now, contest for that Red Brambleback. I think that they will basically get this one over to Essences. But still, this is potentially a Baron angle, which is a little bit dangerous, which probably they wouldn't call just yet. TP available for both top laners, so a little bit too risky to actually pull that one off for now. Blueprint right now getting a little bit of pressure, which will be now shrugged off. But Arashi says, alright, are we gonna coin flip this or what? Like, you're just basically inviting the rest of Gucci to right now give an answer.
Okay, Blue Trinket does spot it out here. Philia after shot.
Even though guys, even though gold ahead 7.000 gold,
specific Baron
mereka nggak berani coin flip guys.
time.
Bener-bener belajar dari kesalahan banget SSS guys. Main
Soul,
aman,
which
main
is will be
tenang.
spawning in the next 2.5 minutes.
That will be absolutely crucial.
Starting
So
it again.
far,
Even though ahead sekitar 7.000 gold
seems like
kurang
they're
lebih
just
ya.
gonna
1.400.
keep on baiting the rest of
Oke,
Gucci.
Baron.
They're just gonna let this one
Udah mulai
slide. They are
di-ping.
slowly marching up ahead, but
Baron Pitnya udah mulai di ping, Trundle.
Elongation time because we see the recall coming from the Jax. There might just be a TP at the ready, and there we go. Double TP coming in.
Baron has been secured coming in for the side of Team Triple S. The Jax will have to run towards safety here as Philia.
Oh my
Up the
god.
quickness here, they are looking for a bit of a subsidiary play here. Where is the follow-up coming in for the side of Arashi here? Shockwave doesn't land on towards any single members here at one. He's looking for the play. They do get Arashi, and that's another shutdown going in favor for the Jax from the side of Gucci.
My, is another big drop right there, and it seemed to me that this Jax pickup so far has been the key to a lot of all these trades, and he's only gonna get stronger, and that is gonna be a needlessly large rod now in his back pocket, yielding to more of the AP.
Oh my god, Kaisa over the wall, Anivia.
Oh, Sebastian flashes
Keeping the
away,
range.
still has the glacial
Oh
storm,
my
but
god, bro, the
is
damage
not
is too
insufficient
high.
here as Sebastian gets
Holy
thrown down in
moly.
towards the egg as Blaze. He's
Trundle
dangerously
just
low, but
squishy,
he manages to run towards safety here as the
Flash
best.
over
Needs
the
to
wall.
pop the flash. There won't be any much of a follow-up. But
my
losing two
god.
members with the presence of the
Spacing-nya
Baron
udah bagus
buff,
banget
this
dari
is going to
Nvidia,
be
bro.
a very difficult stronghold coming in from Gucci going into
Oh my god, this
defensive
Trundle,
zone.
bro.
Yeah, with this Baron power play, we're expecting to search into the 9k, 10k trash hole as well. Piling on more of that pressure over on the bottom side. It does seem like we do get a little glimpse of what went over on to the Baron attempt as well. I mean, overall it was quickly secured, but Arashi extends, tries to look for a play, but that was quickly answered back with LJW hopping in to really put it to a halt. And then you have this blast home play that has been able to supplement another 2
Kemana?
kills in
Pilarnya
favor
kemana,
of
bro?
Triple S. And that was great work coming from Philia to also provide just about enough cover to keep Blaze alive.
The Rakan E into the blockhead just to keep Blaze alive, and it was looking good for the side of Gucci, where Blueprint and also Sebastian got a very cheeky steal on that red buff. So if they could get out alive, sure. Philia has to spot it out by the ward here, has to commit the grand entrance to escape.
Holy moly, bro.
Overall, great navigation across. Zonya's Hourglass now available for the Jax to make things a little bit more difficult for the rest of Team Triple S. Now that the Baron buff is slowly depleting,
Careful,
we might
Trundle,
actually
careful,
look for
Trundle.
a potential catcher.
Oh
and
my
they
god,
are
counter strike.
moving towards the Dragon.
Nice secure on towards the Dragon here. Two-man Nard towards the
Dragon
back line here.
Trend,
As they
Shockwave.
find the Shockwave on towards Sebastian.
Anivia.
Sebastian is already down Blaze. He's going for the
Kaisa,
back line.
Kaisa,
Double
play
kill
for
already
Kaisa,
going
Kaisa,
in hands of the
sipil, bro.
Nekodes.
Play for
Nekodes,
sipil,
he's
play for
flying towards the
sipil.
back line, but he
Oh,
maintains
no.
alive as 1JW.
Oh,
You do trade him, but what happens to 4 of your other members as they do get taken down in this exchange of a team fight?
Yeah, it's not too much of a wordy trade. They were a little too
Dua
late,
tuker
and
empat,
now
at least
Dragon
dapat shutdown.
Soul.
Dua tuker empat, tapi at least
I mean,
dapat shutdown.
right now, a whole build, all the objectives has been wiped away from the side of Triple S, and you saw once again Philia being the key for the setup, and then you see that killer instinct all the way to the back line, cutting off the exits.
Cuman
By the time
damage-nya
that the
belum masuk,
Zonya's
bro.
Hourglass was over, he had to make the flash play to
Damage-nya belum
try to
cukup.
not only find escape, but to also get the kill over onto
Already
Nekodesu.
too fed.
So at least it was something that they got in return. If it was an ace, you would expect the inhibitors to be gone.
It's a very good play coming in from 1JW. He actually stalled so much time and also removed one of the most fed members coming in from the side of Essences in that team fight. But you can only do so much as a single player. I cherish the moments coming in from 1JW, but the others need to find their footing or momentum in these team fights.
Yeah,
Bro,
that's
kenapa nggak
certainly
berani
the
kan
case.
Trundle
And
ngambil red
up
sendiri?
till now, I'm not looking at much of a resistance as well towards this Orianna. I mean, they're just basically building a lot more armor right now, including the Blueprint, who's already working on to a
Deadman's Plate?
Deadman's Plate.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it looks like this monthly, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's alright, right? You're like,
Not
okay,
too bad.
Not too bad. It's like, you're gonna use the additional movement speed, drop the pillar, and then, well, maybe like, dislocate a specific player that doesn't have mobility, then your team can pile on towards it. Maybe that's the game plan coming in from Blueprint.
Pretty much true. Whereas we're also looking at Ice Lemon Tea, who's been absolutely in control over onto
The
his
stable still.
side of the... Yeah, overall he's been unshaken, unstirred, and I believe he's working onto a Randuin's, or if he wants to convert it into a Frozen Heart, which could be pretty
Jax, come on,
handy as well
Jax,
when
do
you're dealing
something,
with
Jax.
a Jax as well as a Trundle. So either way, it works absolutely just fine. Now, interesting enough, more AP on the side of the Jax working onto what
I think it's a Rift Maker.
Yeah. Rift
Zonya's
Maker. For a
Rift
moment I was like,
Maker.
no, it can't be a Landry's, right?
Nah, there's no way that's
way.
only Andrews here. So it makes a lot of sense to actually build the Zonyas and also the Rift Maker. It gives you so much more damage
sustain.
over time and percentage increase. And at the very least, you do see that there's attempts coming in from 1JW in flanking the backline here. So you have to give more time to Austerity, to Sabaski, to scale into those big item powers.
Yeah, we're already reaching the 300 CS over threshold for both sides of the AC, so pretty much all that's left to do is just sell the Darwin's bow and make the final item for the side of place, and he is going to be absolutely okay. Now this is going to be a call for a second Baron coming from the side of Essences, and there's just no response, or should I say a rather late response. They're just going to have to just once again give this away, expecting to play the holding game, which we talked about it before back in the draft, where you can play split pushes with the Jax, and he's already working on that T2. When you have that Anivia, you could basically hold all these waves for days, so long as you have the mana to do so, which of course she does. So right now, slot doms, IE, Yuntals, and so much of all these tools for the Saber to have decent impact in team fights.
You will see a lot of like the bouncing W refreshes coming in from the Severe here, and as the game progresses, it's gonna be starting to be even more difficult to capitalize on this Severe, especially when you're going to high ground. You will need like a very good quickness coming in from a Khan or a Mega Gnar to engage on towards the Severe to realistically allow the killer instinct coming in from Kaisa to reach the backline.
Yeah, overall, it is definitely a lot of tough work for them to really crack through. And realistically, yeah, sure, you could say you could have either Arashi or Fila to die first, and if Gnar does have enough charges, it could still be rather risky. So right now,
I'm gonna wait for it.
it needs to be a very calculated attempt coming in from the side of Essences. While they also do have a very heavy wave down bottom side, so this 4-1 formation just got to do wonders for the side of Essence in order to put a dent right through Gucci.
Well, second minion wave has arrived coming in from the side of Essence here. They capitalize on the split focus coming in from the side of Gucci, and they do successfully get that first inhibitor of the game.
Yeah, and they're already working on to the top lane as well. Potentially triple inhibitor if they execute this one correctly, and they're
Flash engage coming in from the side of
Flash,
1JW,
Flash,
finding
Flash.
on towards Blaze, but Blaze having the quickness here coming in from the Rakan to disengage. He flies in towards the backline, finds Austerity, and Austerity Blueprint has been taken down. 1JW, one against the wall. He gets knocked up, he gets silent, and he will be taken down, and that is a 3-for-none. Nexus is about to be exposed as the powers are being taken down.
That's the
Essences, eyes on
3-0
Nexus, and they will be your champions of the
they got the
LCP
reframes,
wildcard
bro.
in
They got the
Indonesia, Malaysia,
reframes.
and Singapore.
Lo and behold, a clean sweep!
Holy moly,
Essences proves that they
congratulations
are
to
the
Essence.
kings of IDMYSG!
Gucci.
And they have
Oh
toppled out the
my
Giants
days.
that have conquered the
Oh
previous run of the LCP wildcards.
Oh my god,
And now
congratulations,
the new
SSS.
kings take over as we see them fight the rest
Melaju
of
ke
the best
playoff.
of the region.
Oh my
Congratulations
God.
to them, but all hopes are not lost just yet for some of those who are fans of those, of course, who faltered. So that being
my
said, Triple
days.
S have shown that they have that grit in them, that tenacity, and of course the drive to push in to have such a flawless run from the lower brackets to now finally exact that vengeance up against their nemesis. And it's just a beautiful story now.
Holy
shown
moly,
right before
3-0.
our eyes.
From losing
Just like that.
in upper bracket 1-2 against Gucci to destroy every single team in the lower bracket and then getting revenge in a trio fashion. That's just amazing stuff coming in from Essences, and you can tell these players who have so much experience, they can be calming and composed in a grand final setting, and that's just amazing coming in from this Essences roster.
Yeah, I think like overall we
Holy
initially pointed out,
moly,
oh,
bro.
this guy is the
Holy
shining
moly.
star of the team, but no, every single round they proved that everyone works as a unit. You have games where Arashi shine. Now, you saw on Nico what kind of wonders he do with his Orianna. You have Philia with the setups, and of course Blaze on his unkillable Jhin, and of course the Mr. Reliable on the top side. It's been Dust.
He's been amazing,
It's been
right?
Incredible.
Like, Dust wasn't the most shining one in for these games, but the way that he plays that weak side, 1-1 and 8, consistently controlling 1JW's Jax in that laning phase, making sure that he wasn't able to push for more of these advantageous lead, is what exactly led to Arashi, Neko, Blaze, and Philia's capabilities in the side lanes, in the cross map, able to make such big plays in harnessing that lead.
Holy
Yeah, and
moly,
I
guys.
think like it all started when it comes down to a potential contest over onto the Grubs, and that's where Nekodesu, he found the angle for the first beautiful shockwave, and then that double just snowballs him out of control with the Ludens, and then it just transpired into something that is even more potent. As much as we saw, 1JW was doing his level best in order to stall the game, buy a lot of space, even take down some of the core targets like Neko, Blaze. Unfortunately, there was just not too much of an answer. Even with the substitution of Blueprint, it really felt like he couldn't really have too much of an impact heading into this round because it just required so much to get things activated. So I would say that Gucci, they're not doing anything all too wrong, but they haven't really found the solution to all the things that were thrown from the side of Essences.
And this is your grand finals MVP. Nekodes coming in with 3
Holy
games
moly.
in towards that mid lane. You have the Thalia, you have the Syndra, you have the Orianna. All 3 games, he was a shining star coming in from the Essences roster.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely looking like Faker of Southeast Asia with those kill participation rate. That's above 85% every single round. Well, we can discount the small little, of course, percentages out of the 84. But overall, just look at the amount of contribution that he brings to the table. It's not just about the KDA all together. Yes, he works wonders all together with Arashi, but when you need him to basically hold down the line, he does so. If you need him to really make a big play to benefit the team, say no more. He's always there. He always shows up, and that's what matters the most.
And it's actually really amazing to see that mid lane being won over so hard by Echo, and then it expands into total map pressure here. And we do have the updated brackets here to see how Essences came all the way from their starting game against the FC into losing to the side of
Nih, ini guys, kemarin guys yang aku bilang, literally kemarin tuh
Gucci in
SSS
that
lawan
upper
Chi dan
final.
yang
And
menangnya
then
Chi loh
they
guys.
went on a run to defeat
SSS
Sparky,
turun ke lower
and then
bracket,
coming
lawan
back
Sparky,
into the grand
SSS
finals
menang,
to
naik
pay
lagi ke upper
revenge
bracket,
against
dan di
Gucci
sini mereka
with a
3-0 lawan
TOP
Chi guys.
sweep
Holy
in the
moly.
winners finals.
They definitely have
moly.
picked up a lot of lessons, as you saw. It wasn't all too smooth sailing over onto the upper brackets. It was a close game up in Sparky as well, which, you know, over onto the lower brackets, they basically answered back 2-0, and it doesn't seem like Sparky could have even really draw too much of blood out of them. And then comes the grand finals, which we
GG,
talked
bro.
about. This
SSS.
would be
Game.
a 5-game series. Well, they prove us wrong in the best way possible. They say, nope,
Good
we are
game.
not even going to show any signs of weakness at all. As much as Gucci, I mean, they're a high quality team overall, but today we just definitely have a clear-cut answer on who is basically the best of the rest.
Well, it's not a 5-game series, but it's a 5-game run coming in for the side of Essences here. 2-0 against Sparky, and then a 3-0 against the side of Gucci in that finals here. Really, really well done here. But my name is Sagi, and with me is Contra. Thank you all for watching. the LCP Wildcard Qualifiers here for Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. See you in the next event, and we will say good night.
Alright, that's it guys. Dengan berakhirnya pertandingan, sepertinya gue juga bakal off stream. And gue ucapin sekali lagi terima kasih buat teman-teman yang udah nemenin. Terima kasih juga buat League yang udah ngasih gue kesempatan buat jadi co-stream. Kesempatan baru buat gue, pengalaman baru juga. Cukup berkesan, oke. Dan ya, sekali lagi gue ucapin terima kasih untuk semua pihak. And sampai jumpa di live streaming berikutnya. Bye-bye semuanya, thank you. Sekali lagi congratulations buat SSS, buat Essence. Congrats untuk jadi juara di qualifier sekarang dan melaju ke babak playoff. Bye-bye semuanya, thank you.